Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there. Sure. Yeah. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Thumbtack presents the ins and outs of caring for your home. Out. Uncertainty, self-doubt, stressing about not knowing where to start. In. Plans and guides that make it easy to get home projects done. Out. Word art. Sorry, live, laugh, lovers. In. Knowing what to do, when to do it, and who to hire. Start caring for your home with confidence. Download Thumbtack today.
This week, in Lucedale, Mississippi, a gruesome discovery in a motel room has the local people shocked and disgusted, while investigators try to piece together how what happened is even possible. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today. We are excited as always.
Yeah.
How could we not be?
It's another one.
Who's not excited for crazy murder? We are, and you are. So let's get into it. First of all, thank you, everybody, for everything you've done for us this week. Your reviews have been helpful. Apple Podcasts, that purple icon, give us 5 stars. We don't know why it helps, but it helps drive you up the charts, and that's important for just a ton of business reasons. So if you could do that, thank you so much for everybody that has. If not, please get on that. That's all we ask of you. What the hell here? Also, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for everything that you would want for crime and sports and small town murder. And if you're not listening to crime and sports, goodness, you are missing the boat and the train and anything else that could take off from a dock.
Carpathia's going right by you.
It's going. Just hop on. What are you doing? Get on there. It's chugging by. It's a lot of fun. Check that out every Tuesday. Also, check out P.S. I Hate This Movie, where I'm next 2 weeks from now, I got to watch more Twilight, Jimmy. More Twilight. It's happening.
Listen, you got your vampire.
Yes, I got to watch Once Bitten on the last episode, so that was fun.
You get your vampire, she gets hers.
That's exactly well. She hates Twilight too, luckily, so it's good. We both hate it. That's what's great. Neither of us like these movies, so yeah, check that out also. And in addition to that, I think you definitely want to check out Patreon. That's where it's going down. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you're going to find all of the wonderful bonus materials. My goodness, this week coming up, we have some fun stuff for crime and sports. And actually, this kind of lends itself to small town murder. Mm-hmm. And you get access to everything, by the way, crime and sports and small town murder bonuses and the whole back catalog and everything like that. This week, we're going to talk about the Hotel Cecil documentary on Netflix and the crazy case of that, the young lady disappearing, the Canadian girl who came down and they found her in the water tank, and then kind of the dark history.
It was going to be such a nice trip, James.
Oh, she was going to have so much fun, and it didn't quite work out that way.
Right.
And the dark history of the hotel, the Night Stalkers involved in it, and Richard Ramirez, the whole deal. So,
poor bastard in Mexico. It's a fascinating documentary.
It really is. So check that out. And then for the small town murder bonus, as if that one wasn't enough, we're doing the prisoner dating game.
Hell yeah.
So if you've been waiting for Patreon, wait and get on it. This is the week to jump on because it's going to be wild. Patreon.com/crime and sports. And in addition to that, as if that wasn't enough, you also get a shout out at the end of the show because you are a producer and we love you. We cannot tell you how much we appreciate every penny that you put into this. So thank you so much. Jimmie will mispronounce your name brutally at the end of the show. And if you just want to be a producer, have your name mispronounced, and have good karma as well, you can do that over at PayPal using our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com.
Right.
That said, let's get into this, Jimmie.
Let's do
think
it.
It's time to do the disclaimer.
Let's do another show.
Well, yeah, we got to do the disclaimer. This is a comedy show. It is. It's a comedy show. Jokes are going to happen, and people will be murdered. That's the thing. Those are two things that we can guarantee you will happen on the show: jokes and murder. Now, what we don't do is we don't make fun of the victim or the victim's family.
Yeah,
because we're assholes. But we're not scumbags, Jimmie.
And that's the deal.
That's how it works here. Because that's it. There's a lot of crazy stuff that happens around murders. The idea. I'm going to murder this person. That's
bananas.
It's crazy. Think about the thought process, the planning, then trying to get away with it. There's a lot to make fun of.
Are you out of your fucking mind?
Yeah, what are you thinking? No. No. So that said, I think if you think that, true crime and comedy never go together, then maybe we're not for you. It's possible. Right. But if you, want to give it a shot, I think it's time to sit back and shout, "Shut up and give me murder!" Let's do this, Jimmie.
All right.
Let's go on a trip, shall we?
One more again. Let's do it.
Can't wait. This week, we are going all the way from Oklahoma, as we were. We did New York and then Oklahoma, and now we are heading down south again to a place we have not been in a while.
No?
Not been in a while. Down to Mississippi. Oh, my God. It's been so long. We're going to Lucedale, Mississippi.
Lucedale.
Lucedale. L-U-C-E, Dale.
Oh, okay.
Lucedale, Mississippi.
It's about how they spell loose also.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I didn't know, but that's the pronunciation. I looked it up and made sure.
It's a town named after a guy named Dale.
Well, you're close, actually.
He's loose as shit.
You're close, actually. That's the thing.
All right.
This is southeastern Mississippi, down near Alabama and all that, down by the Gulf. This is sticky down there. Some sticky territory we're talking about. Yeah. About 45 minutes over to Mobile, Alabama. Which is a sticky location.
That's a shithole too.
It's rough. I hear that there's people like vacation there. There's like a
really
nice,
in Mobile.
Yeah,
gross.
It's like
I've been. It's a piece of shit.
Oh, I've seen like on what is it? The one of those House Hunter shows where they look for like quote beachfront shit.
Yeah.
And there's like somebody buying a beachfront thing down there, and it was on stilts, and it just looked terrible down there.
How dare you call that a beach?
And these people were like wealthy too, and I'm like, you have money, go somewhere good. But I guess they lived within driving distance. I don't know what the hell they were doing. So it's about 45 minutes to Mobile, about 2 hours and 15 minutes to New Orleans, which is a whole other issue over that direction.
Thing,
and then about 5 hours up to Walnut, Mississippi, which was our last Mississippi episode.
Really?
A long time ago. Episode 138. This is 215. Remember the Cookie Monster? This is that guy.
Do I?
Yeah, the Cookie Monster guy. September of 2019. Think about that.
Holy shit.
Think about just a completely...
That seems like the appropriate amount of time to not go back.
I was going to say, if If we actually physically had to go to Mississippi, that would be the amount of time we would take in between. This is in George County, episode, Jesus Christ, area code 601. It's about 6.5 square miles, so it's a small town. What do you want? Motto of this town, and this is everywhere all over this town. It's on the sign. It's in the website of the town. Quote, where people and progress meet.
Okay.
They're like, it's not, don't think of us as Mississippi. Where people, but there's another one also. This is more of like you have to kind of be there a while before you know this motto. If they don't put this one on the sign. It's quote, it's a little different actually. It's aggressive, honestly. Yeah. Being honest with you. Quote, where people in progress meet, but then people decide to string progress up from the nearest tree. That's that's an aggressive motto, you don't expect that very often. So,
Lucedale is the town in Mississippi that's trying the hardest? Is that what they're saying?
That's what they're saying. They're trying here.
We're regretful, too.
I mean, hey, we're sorry. That's what that says. That motto is basically, we're sorry for all the stuff that happened before.
Our bad.
If you can forget that stuff and just...
Trying pretty hard around here.
Yeah. So the history of this town, it was named for Gregory Marston Luce. That's his
last name is Luce. Okay.
Luce, yeah, who operated a lumber business there.
All right.
Very important. The lumberman
Tree guy. Yeah.
He's the guy. He developed George County here developed a small but significant manufacturing industry that produced transportation equipment. So that's kind of how this area, there's only 22,000 people in the county in this area.
In the county?
In the whole county.
The whole place?
Yeah, this is not even the town. In George County, there's only 22,000 people. So
holy shit.
This shit is rural, man. It's out there. So public administration was George's largest employer, but there's a lot of like retail trade and shit like that going on. Like people work at the store. That's where they work. They either they work for kind of the county or the store. They work down at the whatever. Agriculture also had some soybeans and some hogs down there, made up some workforce. But other than that, they're very concerned with litter down here. Litter.
They don't like it, huh?
I want to show you something, Jimmy.
All right.
Lucedale, litter-free. Look, this is wild. I got to turn the monitor. Sorry. Here you go.
Litter-free.
Litter-free begins with
me. They got a little
super
kid. Yeah.
And he's a kid with he's got like cargo shorts pulled up to his nipples and a cape. And he's next to a garbage can. But the garbage isn't all in the can. Look over here, Jimmy.
He's littering.
That's what I mean. There's paper outside of the can. When the wind blows, that's going to be more litter. So I don't know what the hell they're doing.
His bag's full, too.
That's what I'm saying. The kid's fucking up. It's a bad thing. So he's got a full bag.
Rubber galoshes.
It's not going to fit. It's not going to fit in that garbage can. But it says on the website, this is like front page action here, from the mayor and first lady. First of all, I didn't know the first lady or the first gentleman were a mayoral thing as well. I didn't know it extended that far down the list.
Gotta give her credit where it's due.
From the alderman and the first lady, like how far down the list does it go? Ask yourself, how can I get a clean start? That's what it says. And then it has 5 tips for that. Okay, number 1, keep the area around your home/business picked up every day. Well, that seems logical, right?
Yeah, that seems like the first thing that I'm going to look for is the
around
right in my vicinity.
Yeah. 2, dedicate 30 minutes a week to picking up litter.
Yeah.
So you need to wedge out some time. I don't know if that's going to be 5 minutes a day. I don't know if that's going to be 30 minutes all at once. We're not sure, but figure it out. Number 3, this is the important one. This is, I swear to Christ, this is on their website. Make sure there's no loose trash in your pickup truck/vehicle. So they don't even, you don't have a car. It just assumes you have a pickup truck. Make sure there ain't no trash in your pickup, is what they said.
How'd they spell loose? Is it L-U-C-E?
It is. Please use trash receptacles we've placed around town. Well, seems logical. That's where it goes. And remember, littering inside the city limits carries a $500 fine. That's a lot. Tired of talking trash? Who are you going to call? Lucedale Litter Busters at 601-508-6042. It's time to clean up our act.
How filthy is this town? They're going hard on the trash collection.
Fuck, man,
and they're putting it on me. Don't you have fucking trash guys?
Screw the trash guys. This is all about everybody here. This is...
it's your job.
It's that child's job. You get a cape on your kid and you send them out there. pick up some shit for 30 minutes. Now, reviews of this town, I'll give the 5-star review that's here. So, there's a few of them. So, I'll give you one. Lucedale,
one better be it's fucking clean.
Spotless town. The lack of litter here is remarkable. We're all very excited about it. My son is...
If one fucking person says that this town is dirty, I've had enough.
The mayor and the first lady issued my son a cape, and we're all very thrilled with it. So, 5 stars. Lucedale, Mississippi is a small town with great people. The residents of Lucedale are all so hospitable. Teachers and other school district staff are so caring and helpful. All exclamation points, by the way. They just love this place. Lucedale is a great place to raise a family. One thing I'd like to see more of is things to do, such as a bowling alley, laser tag, etc.
Why are you so bored? Go pick up trash.
That's what I mean. From what I understand, there's trash to be picked up. Get your shit together. Get your kids out there and pick the trash up. That's what you do around this town.
I'm stunned by the trash picking up
Especially
campaign.
It's on the front page of the website. That's like, this is all we care about. Number 1, the litter. Now let's get to the water after that and the sewage. And so here's 3 stars. This is average, and the rest of these are all going to be 3-star reviews. Small town that is pretty safe. The best part of Lucedale is how everybody knows everybody. Eey. The only negative thing is how, since it's smalls, that's what they said, since it's smalls, there isn't much to do besides eat and shop. All right. Well, I mean, what else do you do in life but eat and shop? That's what everybody does.
Right.
You eat, you shop, you go over there, you eat some more because you're tired from shopping, and that's life.
Being an American.
That's I was going to say. You just described America, sir. 3 stars. I've learned to love my hometown. That's never a good start. I've learned to love it. However, growing up in Lucedale, there were a lot of areas for growth. In the past few years, it has grown and expanded, but there's still a lot of ignorance and rednecks. Well, yeah, what's your address, homie? That's, I feel like...
Check your zip code again, my friend.
Yeah, I'm not. And by the way, don't be pissed off, Mississippi or South. And if you are pissed off, I direct you to episode 213 from Fishkill, New York, and 10 times more brutal than I ever am to you. So I don't want to hear any shit anymore for that. You take it on the chin just like everybody else.
And we're not even picking the low-hanging fruit with hillbillies. You're doing it.
This is
your
someone
reviews
who lives in the
are
town.
that you're tired of all the hillbillies.
That's what you said. Ignorance and rednecks. I didn't say that. This is a review of the goddamn town from someone who grew up there. I feel like education in Lucedale has a lot of quality teachers, but is not prioritized. There isn't a whole lot of activities for children and youth to keep them mentally and physically active. All in all, it's a small town, and while I like that, there's also a lot of ways in which we are behind because of this. Here's another 3-star. It's a small town where everybody knows everyone. Everybody knows everyone, because that's every review. That's a fact. Good town for a family and raising small children. Lucedale overall has a good school district with great schools. It has great football, baseball, and softball program for your athletic children. Mm-hmm. The rest of you can fuck off, but if you have any athletic kids in your house. The business owner are okay for the most part. One guy owns everything.
The business owner are okay.
He okay. he okay, Jimmie. It is not very. Let's see. It is great to bank there because you develop a relationship with them. I've never heard a positive review of a town referencing the bank before. That's weird. It is not very exciting, and there's not much to do in Lucedale, so you would have to drive about 45 minutes to an hour to enjoy entertainment. Right. Well, that's fair. And then it just says it is your exact idea of a small town, quiet and friendly. That being said, I'm also white, so that has some hand in my experience. Everyone knows everyone in the town, and yet I've yet to meet an openly rude person.
Okay.
All right. So there you go. Someone.
I like that he's very upfront and honest, though. I'm white, so things go in my favor.
I don't know. Probably worse if you're black. I'm not sure.
That was cool as shit.
I mean, at least he's honest about the whole thing. People of this town, population 3,007. Okay. So it's pretty small. It's a small town, and this is the county seat too. So
really,
up 16% since 1990. So people have been coming here. Males way outnumbered, 53 to 47 in male and female. So
really,
it's way out of whack here. I don't know what the hell's going on. Maybe I know construction is the main job, so that might be a reason why. A lot of kids 10 to 14 years old, and a lot of people 25 to 34 years old. So that tells you that people are having kids when they're 15. That's what that tells you here, because those two demographics are like equal. So I feel like the one is begatting the other, and that's how that's working. So let's see. Married population's lower. It's only 43% here. So it's not, it sounds all like it's a little family town, but then it doesn't have the normal family town kind of stats. You know what I mean?
Come here, raise a family, and don't have one.
Don't have one, though. Don't get married, at least. Single with no children is actually higher than normal here. Race of this town. It's 71% white, which is a little over the 62% average in the rest of the country. Right. 25.4% black in the town. So, I mean, it's twice as much as average. 1.1% Asian, 2.3% Hispanic. So that is very low. Yeah. Normally 17.5%. 52% of the people here are religious. So that's lower than we get with a lot of these southern towns, but there's a lot of young people here. So that might be a reason why. And the Baptist is obviously the 32% Baptist, because Baptists are the Catholics of the South, as we know from experience. 0.0% Jewish, not surprisingly here. 0.0% Islam. Politically, last election, George County, 10% of the people voted Democrat, 88% voted Republican. So
fascinating.
It's pretty. That's
heavy as shit.
That is really one-sided. Yeah, that's a lot. Unemployment rate here is 8%. And this is not like with the
that's pre-COVID stuff.
Yeah, the rest of the country being 3.7%.
Yeah, that's high as shit.
That's more than double the rest of the country. Yeah. Not great. Median household income also not wonderful. $40,078 is the median household. Normally it's about $57,500. Construction is the main job. A lot of people make under $30,000 a year in this town too. So it's it's kind of tough going down here too. I saw like the real estate prices are depreciating down there also. Yeah. It's not going well. About cost of living, 100 being regular or average. Here it's about 86, which is kind of high with the rest of the factors in there. Housing is a 61. So that's a little lower. Median home cost $141,200, which is low, but if you make $28,000 a year,
still out of reach.
That's still pretty tough to do. Yeah,
it's hard to get a piece of the American pie or an American dream with that kind of difficulty staring you right in the face.
Yeah, you need sleep to dream. That's the thing.
Right.
And if you
and then in your
money.
Dream,
sleep is
in
money.
Your dream, you don't even have a boogeyman chasing you. It's just a bill collector.
No, that's the thing. In America's United States, if you're outside of the country, one thing about this country, and it's funny, we'll talk about it in the Patreon bonus episode about the Hotel Cecil, but the one thing they talked to that British couple who came over, and they're like, we saw it was a good price and it was a good location. And I'm like, one thing people don't understand in the rest of the world is here, you'll be like, oh, it's like that everywhere. It's a different thing here. Here you absolutely get what you fucking pay for. Yeah. And if you pay less than you should, you get murdered. That's what I mean by that. That's why it's a more extreme thing in America. If you think you're getting a bargain, that means you'll 100% be assaulted in a bathroom or something. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I saw a BuzzFeed article about like 23 things that people around the world didn't know about that they thought was crazy about America. Then they came here and they found out it's fucking real. And like prices was one, obviously, education prices, and then travel and shit like that.
Yeah,
but then the other thing was we have angry sinks that chop shit.
They don't have garbage disposals.
Evidently, that's not a thing anywhere else, or at least wherever that person's fucking from.
Yeah, wherever this was. That's hilarious.
Angry sinks that chop shit.
Loudly.
Exact words.
That's hilarious. I don't know if there's any garbage disposals in this town because the houses aren't worth much. 55% of the houses are worth under $100,000 here.
Yeah, you're lucky you got electricity.
That's what I mean. You're lucky that there's a roof that's capable of keeping rain out and nothing else. So if this sounds like something that you need to be a part of, obviously.
This is your slice of heaven?
Nothing else could make you happy. Then we have for you the Lucedale, Mississippi Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here goes for about $670, which is almost half of the national average, which makes sense, I guess. I found a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 768 square foot house. Tiny. It's like a tiny house, like on Tiny House Hunters, but it's right on a lake. I mean, when I say right, I mean the porch is 10 feet from the water. It's like, if it rains hard, you're going to be... It's flooded. It's that kind of place.
You can't get in that water, right?
I wouldn't. I'm sure it's full of poisonous snakes. And I mean, it's... I figure when you get in there, you just be engulfed and wrapped in leeches and snakes. And
it's Mississippi water, man. I imagine it's like when they woke up in the boat in Great Outdoors, just leeches everywhere.
I was going to say it was like Platoon when they're like trudging through the Vietnamese swamps and like coming up with leeches and snakes. But it's $50,000. So it's a good like weekend if someone had like a weekend fishing house or some shit.
Right.
I don't know if that's.
I'd love to have something like that.
That would be awesome. I found a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, so same amount there, but 1,560 square foot. So a nice, starter family home. Decent enough. New appliances in there. Still have the stickers on them and everything, so that's nice. $85,900. So it's the bones of a decent house that you can, fit a family in, and so that's good. 86 grand, not bad. Then I found a 4-bedroom, you're the king of the lumberyard, a 4-bedroom, 4-bath, T-bowl for every beehole, 3,657 square foot. Very nice. It's a big house. Very nice, laid out. It's brick. It has like a green copper roof. It's cool looking. It's in a classy way, though. In a classy way. Not like it's rotted. Big.
That's a problem.
Yeah, no, like Statue of Liberty green.
Right.
Big, nice property, $365,000 for this. So, I mean, that's a deal. That's not bad.
You got a 4,000 square foot house. You don't get those for under 300 grand.
And brick, and on a big property in Phoenix, that house is $1.4 million probably at least. So not bad there for that. Things to do here. Oh boy.
Yeah, these are my fave.
Let's get it on, Jimmy. Things to do. I found the Good Old Days Festival. Good Ole. O-L-E. Good Old.
Look at this.
Like that. The Good Old Days Festival. This is, man, I found an article about the first one.
Yeah.
And it's they talk about Jack. Jack is a red bantam rooster who was judged at this year's contest, quote, purtiest rooster. Not prettiest, purtiest. P-U-R-D-I-E-S. Purtiest rooster. E-S-T,
oh, dear
sorry.
Christ.
Purtiest. At the inaugural Good Old Days Festival. They talk about how Jack almost never hatched.
Oh, what happened?
I quote from the article. I couldn't make this up. I don't know this language. Quote, that's because his mama was a rescue biddy, nurtured back to health after being abandoned by its mother. Quote, no one thought the biddy was going to make it, said Denise Watts of the Bexley community, but the kids said, let's give it a chance. So we prayed over it, sang over it, and it turned into a fine hen. I'm not shitting you. This is something that was in a fucking publication.
They blessed a hen. She grew up to lay eggs, and Jack became the purtiest rooster.
That's what I mean. Earlier today, the kids posed proudly with a docile Jack and the plaque proclaiming him purtiest. This brings me a lot of joy right now. He's just the purtiest damn thing you ever did see.
I really wish my life was so stress-free. That is unbelievable.
Purtiest.
What a great life. You've got time. You've got so much time. When you can sit around to look for the purtiest rooster.
Purtiest. Then they talk about the festival. True to its name, the event harkened back to the good old days, which displays such as horse-drawn wagons and vintage tractors.
All right.
Yeah, we always have this problem with places where the good old days were kind of bad. It's like, let's not, let's not,
It is nice that they're talking about that farm equipment, though.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah. Actual fucking mechanical. So they said it's a fun learning experience for the kids. The mother of the hen raiser there, who She said, quote, about her daughter, she's a big Little House on the Prairie fan. This was in 2012. Where the fuck do you even find that to watch in 2012? And this gives her a chance to see sort of how it was like back then. Yeah. Sort of. That's a very important word.
Kind of. We shield her a smidge.
Yeah. It's
a little bit sheltered.
It wasn't all just purtiest roosters back then, everybody. Yeah. Let's be honest here. So,
well, John Deere's and roosters, as far as the eye could see. That's all it was.
Party as can be. I found also a festival called Women Come and Go, which I was like, what's that about?
That's my kind of place.
And I found out it's a Baptist church thing. And I was like, boo. No one cares.
There's no coming and all going. That's all that is.
Oh, man. I was like, women come and go.
A Baptist church? How dare they?
I thought it was like one of those where women get together and sell each other vibrators and shit. I thought it was one of those. Yeah, I thought it was one of those. Imagine if you gathered your friends together and be like, check out this fucking pocket pussy. Now you're going to... We would never do that, ever.
I don't want you to see the weird shit that I fuck, James.
That's what I mean. Ever. Women are like, this one will tickle. This one, it tickles your ass too. Well, it's perfect. You're gonna love it. It's got a extra pulsing clit mechanism followed.
They're unbelievable.
Yeah,
so much so that I've seen it to where somebody has posted one of those goofy fucking sex toys in one of the groups about this show, and women are commenting, doesn't work that great. Wait, what? What?
That's what I'm saying, dude.
I was disappointed. Why are you telling us this?
What are we doing? Like I said, imagine a guy posted that. I bought this fleshlight. I fucked it pretty good, but I mean, I don't know. It just wasn't the best. Another guy's like,
how dare they call this flesh? It's more like a gel mold. Yeah. It's not real great.
No. We're just dark in a corner.
I want nobody to see it. I want so few people to see it. I shut the lights off and close my own eyes. I don't want anybody seeing what I fuck. No.
No.
It's not good. This is not hot. This is depraved and weird. That's what this is.
That's how we feel.
I recognize it. Why can't you all?
No, they're embracing it, which, I mean, good for you. I wish we didn't find ourselves so gross. I'm happy that you don't find yourselves gross. Good for you.
Yeah, congrats. I mean, you're right.
The hell?
Women, it is hotter. That is true.
Oh, yeah.
Too. It's much hotter to see a woman
I have to do this. It's like a... It's like the Demogorgon eating somebody in the Stranger Things. It's like it looks back like all embarrassed, kind of like, nah, what are you looking at? I got to do this. I need to do this. Whereas like a woman, it's like she'll like light candles and shit. It's a different scenario. Yeah. They're like, this is beautiful, and we're like, meh.
The act of it is. It's different because like a dude is like jamming it into something or using his hands and like holding it with two or whatever.
Okay.
Whatever it is that we're jamming this thing into, it's just much harder to see it. Somebody jamming it into them. So I get it.
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
I know, exactly. So crime rate in this town. Besides this conversation.
Since we've just sounded like animals ourselves.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Property crime in this town is actually slightly above the national average, which kind of unexpected, I guess. Everyone's saying how clean and safe it is. I mean, maybe they consider picking up litter stealing. I'm not sure. I don't know. I was using that.
That's my rap.
I was just keeping it on the ground. Violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and, of course, assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime, is about 20% below the national average. So safe that way, but apparently people are stealing each other's shit. I'm not sure.
That's wild.
Speaking of crime, let us talk about a murder, Jimmy.
All right.
Let's do this here. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, Believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. Yeah. But why don't you focus also, you look at green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Okay, let's get right into this, man. This is oh boy, this is a weird one. We have the next couple weeks, this episode here, and then next week we have one of the, we have Pocket Robin. We have a certain killers that we've covered where we're just like, whoa, that dude is crazy, or that lady is crazy.
That one's going to stick around a while.
Yeah, that's next week's is he is crazy with a capital C. Yeah. And a capital R and a capital A and a capital Z, a capital Y.
One more letter.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It's wild, and this is no exception this week either. So let's go back in time, not too far. When we go back to this 2004, we're going back to. So everybody's got cell phones, and life is pretty much the same as now. Without social media, basically. Sure. That's the only difference, except for MySpace, but it's not on your phone, so it doesn't matter.
It's a different thing.
Otherwise, life is not that different. 2004, this is in Lucedale, Mississippi, the Rocky Creek Inn, which I know is still open because on the Good Old Days Festival on their site, it lists that as one of the 4 hotels in the area, which are a good idea to stay if you're going to be an exhibitor there. If you're going to compete for Purdiest Rooster, come on down to Rocky Creek Inn. So this is the Rocky Creek Inn, room 121, August 27th, 2004. Yep. Okay. 911 is called when the housekeeping notices some fire damage to a wall in room 121 from the outside. No. Yeah. So they notice some fire damage, which is odd. So they call 911, and George County Sheriff Gary Welford responds to this 911 call. He walks in the room, opens the door. I don't know why the sheriff responded to a fire call, but I suppose it's emergency personnel probably in a small town. It's whoever's closest probably goes to assist, I would assume, right?
Anybody trained in CPR, come on by.
That's what I'm saying. Probably one of those things goes out over the radio, whoever's close. Yeah. Plus, there's not a lot going on, too, so if you're like, oh, shit, I'll go take a look at it. So he pops up, and when he walks in the room, he says, quote, "I saw 2 feet sticking beyond the ends of the beds and what appeared to be body organs thrown about the room."
Oh, dear Lord.
That's his impression of things. Body organs, many. Just strewn about the room, it'll be said later on, like just casually tossed about, don't need that.
A cavity was opened.
What is that, a liver? Don't need that. Toss that over there. Organs. Think about that. So that's picking individual things out.
Yeah,
and dispersing them. It wasn't.
There's a comedian, I forget who he is, who enjoys framing all the bed sheets, and he'll buy shoes and wrap them into the sheets and leave it on the bed so it looks like there's a corpse on the bed. Yeah. He enjoys that stuff, but I don't think he's gone as far as getting the organs of something.
Go to buy like a heart
that
and some intestines and a tongue and leave it about the room. A liver.
That's a great idea.
You'll definitely ruin some poor housekeeper's day. We'll put it that way. Leave a nice tip if you're going to do that.
Absolutely.
Leave like $50 there because they're gonna need to buy like a bottle of booze on the way home to recover from that shit. So please.
It feels like that's Owen Benjamin who does that. It might be Gary Owen. I can't remember.
Somebody with Owen in their name. We're not sure.
Yeah, it's an Owen.
It's an Owen. Owen Wilson, possibly. We're not positive of who it is. Maybe Owen Hart did it before he died. Yeah. We're not sure.
May have been David Bowie. I don't know. I feel like it's just an O and a W.
There's an O in there somewhere. So, this is obviously a horrible scene to walk into.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. I've never walked into a room and saw organs, quote, strewn about.
No.
That's never happened to me. So an absolute horror scene at the Rocky Creek Inn in room 121. So let's go back in time a little bit here from there. Okay. That's August 27th. Let's go back to the beginning of the month. Let's go back to August 1st. Okay. We'll catch up with a few people here and see what happens.
Still 2004.
Still 2004, just the beginning of the month. Going back to August. Brandy Stewart Yates, let's talk about here. Stewart is her maiden name. Yates is her married name. She's 20. Yeah, married girl. Yeah. 29 years old. She is. She's from Theodore, Alabama. That's where she kind of grew up and she lives. She's married, like we said. She's married to a man named James Yates Jr. Which always Jr. is never a good sign, but we'll reserve judgment. Yeah. We'll reserve judgment for now. We don't know. Just in our experience from crime and sports, never good. Yeah. They've been married for 8 years. So she's married young, Mississippi style, I guess. I don't know. Married young, I guess anybody style. Jesus Christ. Sometimes you marry young, sometimes you don't. They have 2 small children as well at this point so that she wasn't they didn't have a kid and then get married. So this is from there. She has a job. She's a working woman. She works at the Bama Barn.
Yeah.
Which is a bar in Theodore.
She's Mississippi.
And no, in Alabama.
Oh, okay.
This is in Theodore, Alabama. That's where
Got
she's
it.
from.
Okay.
She works at the Bama Barn in Theodore. So she's a cocktail waitress, and that's what she does at night. And she's got married, 2 small kids. This is like if Sandra Bullock wanted an Oscar, she'd do this as a role. You know what I mean? She's got like a troubled marriage. This is like when a rom-com actress wants an Oscar, they're like, get me something where I don't have all my makeup on all the time. Get me somewhere I go to the Piggly Wiggly or wherever the fuck these people go, without makeup and my hair in a ponytail with that one piece sticking out in the front. That means I'm just like a fucking normal person. Get me that role. I want to drive
the one where I have a button-up T-shirt and it's tied in the middle and the first 6 buttons are undone. I wear a sports bra and show my tits and my hair's a mess.
And I want to drive a Hyundai. Can you make me? I've heard that those are shitty. Can I drive one of those? I feel like that's Can I have a Hyundai? I'm going to go shopping at Famous Footwear. Is that where they go? I feel like that's
snarky comments to say to the love interest leading man who just takes my shit for no reason.
Oh no, this is the Oscar role. It's a different thing.
Oh, okay.
This is their Oscar role. This is
he takes the shit because he's in love with her. That's why.
This is like they have to take care of their sick mother. Move back home to take care of their sick mother, or their husband's abusive and they have to make a new life with the kids. It's that role. We know the one. She has to get a job at a terrible place where she's, whatever. She's like Winona Ryder in Stranger Things. There's another Stranger Things. That's what they're going for here.
A little more serious blindside role. No jokes.
No jokes.
All dead ass serious. We're changing the world.
That's what they're going for here. So the marriage with James has had some problems over the years. Yeah. As a lot of young, people get married young will have problems. They've had a lot of fights. I guess one of them moved out at one point in 2003 and then came back. So they reconciled, which again is normal goings on with a relationship like that. They've had some, as we'll talk about a little bit later, they've had a couple incidents where the police were called while they were fighting. So, you know what I mean? It's kind of
it's rocky.
It's been rocky a little bit the last couple years. And, marriages where you have kids, and I'm not saying any kind of physical stuff that happened is understandable, but the rest of problems are understandable.
Sure.
You get married when you're 21 and you have a couple of kids, it's not going to go smooth the whole time.
No.
There's going to be...
I got married at 28. We had 2 kids, and while she was pregnant with the first one, we had an argument so bad I drove my truck down the street with her honking her horn behind me.
That's what I mean. You're going to end up getting in an accident with each other and cost
right.
money. Not good. That's the type of shit that happens even if you wait till you're 28.
Right.
So,
wait till you're 40. That's when you're mature enough to do this shit.
That's the thing here. So, but it's nothing. Every problem they've had, they've kind of reconciled from. Like the cops came, not a big deal.
Right.
They didn't they didn't break up from that. Somebody left and came back, and they came back and it was fine. So one of those things. So just a shaky relationship, but it gets a little bit more shaky around August 1st, 2004. She apparently meets a man at work at the Bama barn.
Oh, boy.
And they apparently hit it off like hardcore because out of nowhere, everybody said it escalates very, very quickly. Out of nowhere, on August 1st, 2004, she takes off with him to travel, quote, travel around.
She's left.
She just takes off with a guy from the bar.
With the guy that ordered a Corona.
That's it. I don't know. There's no indication that they've had a long ongoing thing.
Yeah.
It's almost like, he came in one night, they got friendly, and he was like, well, I'm taking off. You want to come with me? And she was like, hell yeah, and hopped in the car with a cloud of dust behind him. That's kind of the impression we get.
Stunning. Yeah.
I mean, we don't know if they had something going on for a couple of weeks that just was very well hidden or what, but it appears to be it was just like, you want to blow this town? Sure. And then she hopped in the top of the convertible and they peeled off. Like, that's what it feels like happened here. Yeah. Now, who did she run off with? Let's find out a little about him. His name is Joseph Bishop Goff. Goff. Goff.
Okay.
So
back to the Rams.
Exactly. Same guy, except Joseph. Joseph Goff. He's born in 1976. So, they're about the same age, young couple of almost, they're both 29 at this point, 28, 29. He has a little different background than her. She's just been, working to help support 2 children and a family and that sort of thing. He's fresh out of prison.
Oh, so, okay. I was going to say rich as shit. I'm guessing no.
No. His family, though, his family is not, they don't seem to be destitute, as we'll find out later on. His mom gives him money and then does another financial thing later on. So it seems like his family has some sort of financial stability, but he did go to prison and just got out of prison for shooting someone. So, it's not a nice thing here. It's a dangerous man. He didn't kill them, but he shot at somebody and then shot at a vehicle. There was a couple of different... He was shooting. He was bucking off some shots.
There was an attempted murder charge in there at some point.
Yes. He ended up, I think, it was like a plea for assault with a deadly weapon and discharging a firearm in a building and endangering people and all this type of shit. So,
but it was attempt murder.
He definitely tried to kill someone, it seems like, I would say.
That wasn't shooting Mike in his hind parts. That was going far.
He was enough to where he had to go to prison for it. So that's far. That's a far stretch. Lots of problems over the years. Lots of problems. I would say it starts right from the beginning. His parents apparently are related in some way, shape, or form. Not sure exactly which, but we'll put it this way. The courts will later on call him a, quote, child of incest.
Gross.
So, I actually wrote, I never write anything like this, but I actually wrote down after that quote, which sounds even grosser than
it does.
It actually does. I don't know why, but that just
you verbalize it. It sounds. You just say your parents are related,
you're like, that sucks.
What are you, cousin fucker? It's not. It doesn't.
Child of incest sounds like somebody crept into a room late at night that someone else was sleeping in, and nothing was voluntary. That's what that sounds like. Incest, while no more nefarious than 2 related people fucking, it really sounds like it's an aggressive action of one person being a victim. That's what it sounds like. So,
oh boy,
so that's who she's with, a child of incest that she's on the run with, who's fresh out of prison for a shooting.
And so she's a mother.
And she's a mother of two. Now, they couldn't have been messing around for too long because he's like pretty fresh out of the joint. So
really,
I don't know if, he talked to her while he was in jail, if she was looking for a pen pal. I have no clue what happened here. Either way, or he's got game. One of the two.
Got to be just smooth, right?
If you can walk in fresh out of prison to the Bama barn,
right,
and get the waitress a married waitress with two small kids at home to fucking go on the run with you and go travel around, you got
still
game.
Still smelling like shower shoes, steel, and concrete.
Yeah, he's still got his prison issue pants on. You know what I mean? Like, he borrowed a Who Farted shirt from the guy next to him on the bar, but he's still got the pants on.
I'm wearing pants that say parolee down the leg.
Yeah, it's not good. Property of, it starts with. That's a bad thing. So August 2nd, the next day, because she doesn't come home from work that night. Obviously, her husband is worried, clearly. Yeah. I mean, doesn't come home from work at a bar at night. You're going to be concerned by that. So August 2nd, she calls her husband, James, and informs him that she's unhappy, she's met someone else and left with him, and she's not coming home.
It's it.
Peace,
Done.
James. I'm out.
Goodbye.
I'm out, motherfucker. Yeah, so that's it. She calls and she's gone. James is obviously devastated. The kids are devastated. He's got to turn to his kids now and go, Mom's not coming home. Where is she? Well, that's a longer story.
Until she calls and tells you.
Yeah. So more than 3 weeks go by where they're just out around traveling about. So she spends 3 weeks with Joseph Goff here. Yeah. And then we catch back up with them on August 26th, 2004. Very little is known about what their goings-on were between them then and then.
3 weeks.
For 3 weeks. But this is in Lucedale, so it's only 45 minutes, an hour away from where they started. So it's...
would they walk?
I don't know if they traveled and made a couple of figure eights and a loop and ended up back or what the fuck here, but they're back in Lucedale on August 26th, 2004 at 3:53 p.m., very specific. Brandy checks into a room at the Rocky Creek Inn in Lucedale.
I've heard it's nice.
I hear it's beautiful this time of year if you're going to the Good Old Days Fest. If you're competing for Purtiest Rooster, the only place to go. Yeah. I would avoid room 121, though, from what I hear. I'm not positive, but I would have, although the Carpenter's probably newer than most. Right. I don't think you won't be there. So room 121, Brandy checks into, all right? She's got Goff with him, so... Yeah. Her and Joseph check in. Pearl Boulware is working the front desk at the motel when Brandy checks in. She, I guess Brandy completed the registration form. She provides her driver's license, and they photocopy the driver's license and, all that shit that you do sometimes.
Right.
And Boulware says that she gives Brandy one room key, even though there's two people, which give two if there's two people, everybody.
Yes. Every time.
Hotel employees, because we travel a lot when we're on the road, and we're often asked, do you want one key or two? I always want two anyway, because I might lose one. But if there's two people, definitely two, probably. You don't have to ask. It's a plastic card. What do you care? It's not. Just give us two. If there's an extra one, who gives a shit? We think we're going to go, I only wanted one. Take this back. Yeah, I'm going to give you a bad Yelp review now because you gave me two keys. Give me two keys. Assholes.
You're staring in the face of a man who likes to drink a lot, and I'm going to lose this.
Yeah, I'm losing one of these keys. I need two. And that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
I'll put one in my coat pocket, so I always have that when I'm out, and then I'll have one in my pants pocket in case I drop it.
You're worried about your business losing money via all of the room keys that your guests are losing? Charge me an extra $1 tonight. Yeah. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Tack it on. Put it in whatever hospitality fee bullshit that's buried. That's buried in between the $69.99 price and the $186 that I finally pay. Whatever that is in there, throw the dollar on top of it, and I don't really give a shit. I'll do it.
Your key is a plastic piece of laminate shit that just has your company name on it anyway. It's
that you
not
have 100,000 of in the storeroom, by the way. What are you kidding me? It's like keeping track of the straws in a restaurant, Throw an extra straw in the goddamn bag.
Right.
Fuck. So, all right. So they check into the motel, and they get back into the car, and they drive over to room 121, as a lot of these you do that in a hotel. You check in and then you drive to where the closest entrance to your room is. So later in the day, apparently there's an altercation between Brandy and Goff over the course of the day. So some kind of altercation. During this, Joseph Goff leaves the motel in a huff.
He's had enough.
He's angry at her. He's had enough, and he gets in the car and drives to Mobile, Alabama, where he meets a woman there named Melissa.
Yeah.
Now, Melissa will later describe herself as his girlfriend, but we don't know what. His universe of relationships is, I mean, it starts right with the child of incest. It's just the whole thing is very nebulous, and we don't know what the hell's going on here. So he meets her there, and we'll find out what happens with them. But Brandy, back at the room, he left and just left her there. She is pissed off now. She's not happy anymore. Yeah, she's her knight in shining armor, who took her away from everything, is now disappeared. Right. So she's upset. So throughout the day, or the evening of the 26th, Brandy speaks on the phone with her on the telephone with her husband numerous times. Brandy apparently doesn't have a cell phone, by the way, which is strange for 2004.
Yeah.
Most people had a phone in 2004, especially if they had kids.
99 was the first phone I bought, and I've never been without one since.
Yeah, by 04, man, I didn't know many people who didn't have phones.
That Nokia with the faceplate that you could change changed the game. That's when everybody had one, and it hasn't stopped since.
Well, you could even get like a shitty cricket phone back then for $20 a month that had a limited. Like you could get like there was everyone had a phone of some kind at that point, but apparently Brandy does not have one. Because she's speaking to James exclusively over the motel phone, like sitting on the dresser there, on the nightstand. So she spoke to him several times. She first called him collect, by the way. I don't know. I guess it makes sense though.
Yeah.
Put it on the home bill. Between 6:30 and 7:30 p.m. And James Yates, her husband, said that he spoke to his wife several times that evening. Later on, he'll say this, and she told him that she had told him on the phone that Goff had slapped her and then left the motel.
You motherfucker.
So that's what she's saying. She's not happy, obviously. Yeah. James will later say, quote, this is her husband, she was highly upset. She was crying over the phone. She was upset because she hadn't seen the kids and she wanted to see them. Yeah. So that's James's story here.
Also, she got hit.
She got hit, and her guy ran off, and she kind of ruined her life. And, you know, there's a lot of reasons to cry in her situation. Yeah. You know, it really is. I mean, getting hit would be first at the top, but down from there. During this conversation, the first one lasted about an hour. Collect, that's going to cost you. Holy shit. Yeah. And Brandy told, like I said, this was about the getting slapped and dropped and him taken off. She said she was afraid he was going to hurt her and all this sort of shit. So James is pissed now. He wants some, as you might imagine. Not only has this guy come and, sweet talk my wife into taking off with him, but now he's beating the shit out of her in a hotel room.
You steal my wife, then you hit my wife?
Yes.
How dare you?
By the way, we had a couple people at one point when we just used the phrase, quote, steal my wife, where they were like, your wife isn't property, blah, blah, blah. We know that. That's not the fact. The fact is, it's kind of a term.
When it's a saying.
Women say all the time, she stole my man. Didn't actually break into his house and steal him. It's just a fucking, and she doesn't own him either, but it's just a phrase that people say in society.
Don't bark at me, bark at Pitbull.
Yeah, people don't own people, okay? It's just a way that it works.
We get it.
So I don't want to see a tweet about that. So, but that's what he would be thinking sitting there in his, he lives in a goddamn trailer waiting for his wife to come home from the fucking Bama barn. He's thinking, that motherfucker stole my goddamn wife. I'm going to kill him. That's what he's thinking.
And then he hit her.
Goddammit. Now, I'm the only one that does that. Only the one that we only have any incident. We only have, thought that had happened once with that one incident. So other than that, we can't say that he beat her up or anything, but he hit her once at least. That's allegedly. We don't know. So now the second call, which was about an hour after the first call, ended abruptly due to a knock on Brandy's door. Okay. So there's a knock on the door, and then they had to hang up real fast. The third call lasted about an hour, and that was a little after the second call. So there was a knock at the door, hung up, and then they got back in touch with each other a few minutes later, talked for about an hour. So then the third call happens. During the third call here, James makes plans to pick her up early in the morning on the 27th. He says, I'm going to come down there and get you early tomorrow morning, so be ready for me. All right? So that's happening there. So now where the hell did Goff go in this whole
I'd love
mess?
to know.
Where is he here? Well, he who ran into Melissa, as we know,
right?
He ended up, obviously his girl
Mobile
here.
Melissa.
Mobile Melissa over here. She is Miss Mobile, I'm sure. He put her up in a motel room in Mobile, is what happened, judging by the
Melissa up in a motel in Mobile.
A Melissa motel in Mobile.
Yeah,
Melissa's at the motel in Mobile. The motel in Mobile.
Unbelievable.
You know, Mo. Sometimes people will call.
Yeah.
So, he said he went straight back to the Rocky Creek Inn after that. So that's what happened. And Melissa, judging by everything later, he did take her to the hotel or the motel in Mobile, and he checked her in, and that's all legit. That actually happened. She also said that Goff had gone to the store and bought her some groceries before he left. So went to the motel, checked her in. They went to the grocery store, bought some shit, took her back to the motel, and then he jetted out of there. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Now, according to Melissa, at about 8:30 p.m. while they were in the store, Goff received a phone call, and then she said after that his whole demeanor changed. And he was kind of gruff after
pissy?
that.
Yeah.
Pissy, just not the same guy after that. He was kind of
He
pissy.
just found out his Social Security number has been compromised.
That's what it was. I think he found out that they've been trying to get a hold of him about his car warranty for a long time. And it's very urgent. He was like, God damn it, I need to know these things. He was very mad. Very angry.
Warranty expired. He
Fuck.
has a life alert bracelet.
Oh, no. Jesus Christ. It's all
and
terrible.
they want to give him solar, and it's going to cut he's wasting money every month on his electricity bill.
That's the thing. If you're doing that, I mean, if he doesn't get new gutters soon, they're going to fall right off the house. You know what I mean? You got to get those gutter guards on there so the leaves don't get in there and make them fall. That's the problem. So he also at some point he takes off, and at some point he stops at his mother's house.
Okay.
So he stops at mom's house. While he's at his mom's house, he talks on the phone twice. So not once, but twice. During the second call, her mother, this is great. During the second call, the mother went to the other extension and picked up the phone and listened.
No.
What's he doing? I'm going to listen to what's going on here on this phone call. This lady's hilarious. She literally was like, he's back on the phone, and went in another room and fucking listened.
That's awful.
She said that he was talking to a woman on the phone. And the woman, apparently, she says, quote, the girl said, Joseph, you can't just put me in a motel and go off and leave me. I'm hungry. And he said, I left you $500. And she said, but there's nothing to eat here. So, order Domino's.
$500.
Order Pizza Hut. What are you talking
Figure
about?
it out.
Yeah. So we don't know. At this point, we don't know who this is because he's got two girls in motels at this point, so we're not sure. But we'll have a better idea a little bit later on. So about 11:30 p.m. rolls around on August 26th, okay? Yeah. This is the same time that Brandy's talking to James on and off and everything. So around 11:30 here, Goff comes back to the Rocky Creek Inn.
Right.
Okay. He approaches the front desk, and he states that he and his girlfriend are locked out of room 121. You only gave us one key. Remember that?
Right. Yeah.
Two keys. Margaret Clark, who's the desk clerk, made a key for him, and he went on his way back to the room. 3 minutes later, he comes back, and he says he's still unable to get into the room. Oh. Key doesn't work. Great.
The worst.
So you only made me one. I lost it, and now you gave me a second one, and it didn't work right. So perfect. So this is
I'm
annoying.
already annoyed. Yep.
We've been there. Yeah, we've been there at midnight. We're like, God damn it.
Oh, my God.
So
that D.C. room, I get to my door.
Take the door off.
They had to take the door off.
Jimmy has an electronic lock, and he got locked out with all of his shit inside in like a 5 a.m. flight after the show. And they're like, oh, we got to get engineering to take the door off. He's like, what? He had to sit in the hallway Well, they fucking take his door off.
That never happens to anybody on planet Earth. And they're like, yeah, the battery went dead in the reader. And I was like, well, what does that mean? And they're like, we'll have it taken care of in the morning. No, we won't.
Yeah, then what?
We'll have this taken care of right fucking now.
All my stuff's in there. What are you talking about?
I got to leave in 2 hours.
You're missing the point of a hotel room. It's to keep me and my stuff in the same general area. That's the
We'll give you another room. That doesn't help. That doesn't fix this.
Okay, so I leave all my shit here and fly home? No.
You going to ship it?
Yeah, what are we doing here? So Clark makes a second key for him. So he presumably huffs out, slams that sliding glass door behind him, and stomps off. And Goff ends up returning again for a third time. And Clark ends up saying, is there anybody else in the room? Like, can you get somebody to open the goddamn door? And he said, yes, there's someone in the room. And she said, well, if that's why, because the room is locked from the inside, stupid. Okay. So that's why your key's not working. It works on the one lock, but not the deadbolt lock. So you're an idiot. Right. So basically that's how that works. So he said, blah, 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 and he stomps off, and she never sees him again. He just takes off. He doesn't come back for a fourth time to complain about that. So now during all this, James, Brandy's husband, he says that in the early morning hours here, late night on August 26th into August 27th, he tries to call Brandy 3 additional times but can't get a hold of her. He tried to call around midnight, and a male answered the phone. That makes sense because that's after Goff was, trying to get the key and all that. Because he didn't want to cause trouble, he just hung up the phone, which imagine how do you not be like, is this a motherfucker been hitting my wife and I'll kill you, like fucking taking her from the Bama barn and pitting her? How do you not? But he just hung up. He didn't want to. He's close. I feel like he's got, like, at this point, she's been gone almost a month, and he's looking at her like a deer he doesn't want to spook.
Right.
You know what I mean? If he rocks the boat, she's going to run away from the brook, and then he can't get her,
And this guy's willing to hit her over whatever disagreement they have.
Exactly.
What if he hits her over calling her husband?
That's the other thing, too. How would the husband know she's there unless he called her? It's a whole big deal. So James tries twice more to reach Brandy around 4:30 and 5:30 a.m. He can't reach her at all. So when he can't, the phone is busy the whole time when he tries to call back later. So he's unable to reach her. He ends up calling the front desk for assistance, and the front desk tells him that the phone is off the hook. I guess they can, I don't know if they can tell her what, but the phone's off the hook. Either she's on it or it's off the hook. Either way.
One way or another, the hang-up button is not depressed.
Nothing we can do about it, basically.
Right.
If someone's on the phone, it's not against our rules. So whatever. So Pearl Boulware, the desk clerk, she's back for the morning. She says that Brandy received several telephone calls throughout the whole evening of the 26th. The caller was a male and asked Boulware to ring Brandy's room, but it was busy every time. Mm-hmm. So he would call the room, he'd call them, say, can you connect me to that? Maybe that'll work. And so James is calling a lot at this all night at the motel, and he's getting ready to drive there in the morning. So August 27th, the next morning, D.D. Wall, who's the owner of the Rocky Creek Inn, Dee notices what appears to be the fire damage in room 121 by the morning. So she's like, what the fuck is going on here? She used the housekeeping key to enter the room, does that. Once she gets in the room, she notices that the room was burned, and that's the first thing she noticed was the charred walls. She's like, what the fuck happened in here? And then she sees feet on the floor down there in between the two beds, and she takes off immediately.
Smart move.
Goes and calls 911. As you don't want to. I'm not investigating that.
No,
that's not my job. I'm not
fire and body. I gotta go.
Yeah, this is 2 things I'm not qualified to deal with. Bye. See ya. So she goes to the motel lobby, calls 911. They receive the call about 8:45 a.m. The call advised of a fire and a possible body in the room. So numerous officers respond. Apparently, County Sheriff there, Gary Welford, who we talked about before, he arrives at about 8:55. He goes into the room. He says that's the one where he says, quote, I saw 2 feet sticking out beyond the ends of the bed and what appeared to be body organs thrown about the room, which makes it sound even worse. I don't know why. Thrown about the room. Yeah, it's why. Sounds much more like real, like thrown around the room sounds almost silly, but thrown about the room, you're like, oh God, what a monster. He tossed them about the room? No. I mean, just around the room would have been one thing, but not about it. Fuck. It's way different.
Around the room sounds like they're in a specific spot. About the room means they're fucking everywhere.
Yeah, I see one like up in a corner somewhere, like up in the ceiling. I see one like on a floorboard.
Slide mark down a wall.
Yeah, one's like on top of the TV. Like I feel like it's all.
That's about the room.
Everything is strewn about. So Detective Ronnie Lambert shows up. He's an investigator with the George County Sheriff's Department. He arrives at the scene about 9:10 and sees the other sheriffs are already there. The scene had not been secured yet, which seems like as soon as you see feet, I would think you would secure for homicide at that point.
Fucking organs, remember that?
Yeah, I would think everybody out, yellow tape that shit, wait for homicide. You don't touch anything, but I mean, whatever. But a deputy was standing outside the room, making sure no one like went in there and played with the organs or anything. So that's a positive. No like kid wandered in and went, oh, look at that. Slapping around somebody's pancreas. That's better. So Detective Lambert, the county coroner, and another detective all enter the room, photograph the scene. They secure the room with tape and instructed an officer to stay outside to prevent anyone else from entering. Okay. Now, once they get into the body and look down at the body, they realize that it is a young woman here because, I mean, who knows? Who the hell knows what this could have been with this confrontation brewing. And they identify the victim as Brandy Yates. So it is Brandy. Yep, they do that through the registration materials, the copy of her license that was photocopied matches the room, and all that sort of thing. They find out from the motel clerk that Brandy had arrived at the motel in a white Ford Mustang. Mm-hmm. So as the investigation goes on, about 3:45, they contact the dispatcher at the sheriff's department, and they give kind of a, hey, look out for a white Ford Mustang with this guy driving, with Goff driving. So they're looking for the Mustang. About 3 p.m. on August 27th, a George County trooper named Jason Ginn of the Mississippi Highway Patrol sees a white Ford Mustang traveling on I-20 near Vicksburg, Mississippi, which is on the other side of the state. I think that's over on the western side of the state there. Mm-hmm. So the trooper noticed that the car has a temporary tag on it, which is expired and defaced. So it looks like they tried to doctor it. So.
Oh, God.
I mean, that's not correct. If you want to draw attention to it even more, maybe
that is hilarious when people try to do that. I wouldn't have noticed until you wrote a new date on it.
Yeah, until you wrote a new date in green crayon, which isn't the state official
handwriting, not a print
strange.
Of a fucking computer.
Very odd. I didn't realize that they came out like that right from the
I didn't know you could just go to the DMV and pay $20 to extend that. Now I know.
Yeah.
And they write it in Sharpie.
That's fucking perfect. So this trooper, he was in the median, one of those guys lurking in the median, I assume behind trees to get you. Everybody slams on their brakes. He ends up catching up with him. He was unable to read the issuing state on the tag because it had been all jacked up. So he's like, I don't even know what state this goddamn thing is from. He could see the expiration date was August 20th, though, which was a week earlier. So, that's expired. So
No, that's a 5 over that 4, though. So it's now in 2005 it expires.
I crossed it out. So it ain't no big thing. It's all right. That's what they do in Alabama. Right. That's how they issue it. You just take it on down to DMV and they cross it out and write another one in there. We all know. So they pull him over, and driver rolls down the passenger side window because it's a highway, so cop comes on the other side to not get hit by a car.
Smart.
And the trooper, first thing he notices is a strong smell of cigarette smoke. Mm-hmm. So he's chain smoking in there. Then he notices red marks on the neck of Goff. Goff's driving the Mustang, red marks on his neck. And he said that the vehicle was, in his report, he put, quote, trashed on the inside. There's shit strewn about everywhere, strewn about like organs, Jimmy, all over the place. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. Yeah. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmie had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. Yeah. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. Yeah. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at hero.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody. Just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro-laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently. Wherever your problem areas are, tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's SONOBELLO.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
It's like my car.
Yeah, no shit, like all of our cars.
I'm a depressive mess.
So the trooper asks him, what you up to? What's shaking?
Where are you going?
Yeah, you're from Alabama. You're on the other side of Mississippi with a fucking, what's popping here, fella? What you got going on?
Happened to your neck.
Yeah, happened to your neck. All this stuff. So Goff tells this trooper his explanation for where and what he is here is that he is, this is great, he's traveling on a, quote, spiritual experience to Texas.
All right.
So he's to Texas. Yeah. He's going on a spiritual experience to Texas, he tells the cop. The cop's like, oh, okay. oh, that's not a normal traffic stop answer. Where are you headed? Going to my mom's, going over here, going to pick this up, going on vacation. Going here. spiritual experience in Texas. I don't know what the fuck he's thinking.
What you just said, sir, was Austin, because there's no spiritual anywhere else.
I'm going to go to El Paso and have me a spiritual experience. I'm going to head up to Amarillo where it's real spiritual.
Right.
So that's what he tells him. So the officer the trooper, let's say, is, as the way he puts it, concerned by this strange response, which I would be too. Like, this dude is weird. So his observations of the driver and the vehicle and everything else, at this point, he asked for a driver's license. He hadn't even gotten his driver's license from this guy yet. He just got to this point, and here's spiritual experience, and he's like, let's see who you are, fella.
Spiritual experience. What's your name?
What's your name, buddy?
Date of birth.
Let's go ahead and do that, as well as the registration for the vehicle. They provide both. The trooper returns to his vehicle with everything, contacts the dispatcher, and to see if the license is valid. He comes back, to talk to him while that's all being processed. Trooper notices now this odor of gasoline on the documents that he was given. So the car registration and his license and shit smell of gasoline. It's like the things that you handed me reek of gas. Why is that? What up with that? You know what I'm saying? So, what you got?
I got my driver's license in my back pocket, James. Should I see if it smells like gasoline?
I'm sure it does.
I can tell you right now, no.
Most everyone's car registration reeks of gasoline, right?
How much gas do you have to get on you to make your registration smell like gas?
That's what I mean. How much?
That's a lot of gas.
Just soaked through your driver's license is laminated. How does it smell like gas? Like, you have to really get into the plastic. It's not porous. Like, what the shit is happening? So Guff, he says, oh, yeah, the tag's expired. Sorry about that. The license comes back as valid, though. So that's a start. That's good. However, the trooper also is informed by dispatch that he has a lengthy criminal history as well. Yeah. Basically, give him a little warning about the guy. He had, quote, he had multiple breaking and entering charges showing on his criminal history, menacing, stolen property charges, assault, and charges involving a firearm.
General piece of shit.
General shithead who just got out of jail. So that last thing I was telling you about, the shooting at people, that was just the latest incident. Wow. This is he's had a general child of incest kind of a upbringing, I feel like. I'm not sure. And I apologize if you're a child of incest and you're fine, but he's not, is what I'm getting at. So
this here is why that shit's illegal, because it creates this.
It creates assholes like you. So the dispatcher also informs the trooper that they couldn't find any record on file of the Mustang at all. So they don't have anything, like it's not registered. It's just a random car. So
in the wind,
just an in the wind white Mustang.
How do you have a car that's just out there somewhere?
With a general menace to society with a license reeking of gasoline in it. This is a very, very strange situation that they're going to
If you don't have a car that runs in Arizona, it still has to be documented where it is.
Yeah, no, they were like, we never heard of that before. I think he might have built it himself. I don't know what
where's that come from?
He might have built it over at the good old days. I think there's by the way, the Good Old Days Festival, I forgot to mention because I went past it quickly, but they have a greased pig competition in that as well. Of course they have a greased pig competition, Jimmy.
I want to compete in that one of these days, though. I feel like I'd be pretty good at it.
You want to be which side of it?
Well,
you want to be chased and greased and chased?
I'll probably chase the greased pig.
You want to do the chasing?
I'll grease me, too, and chase a greased pig.
That'd be even harder.
That sounds fun.
If you catch it, you get to eat it. You can butcher it yourself. Ain't that nice?
I just want the loin.
So the trooper at this point calls for backup. He's like, this is Trooper again. Shit's just a little too weird out here. I'm going to need some backup. Shit's getting strange. So they do. While he's in his car waiting for the dispatcher to respond, another trooper shows up. He tells the other trooper what he's like, this dude's a fucking whack job. You know, whatever. He said, go talk to him, see what you think. Like, literally, he said, why don't you go talk to him and see what you think? I don't know. Maybe you can get more out of him. He just seems like
Go ask him where he's going. I dare you.
See what kind of spiritual experience he had. I got the front part of it.
Right.
Just go up to him and say, hey, what's happening, buddy? Ever been on a spiritual experience? And just see what he says.
Yeah.
I'm curious. So he does. The trooper goes and talks to him. He ends up coming back to the other trooper and saying that this guy had told him that he has about $3,000 in cash on him. This guy in a fabricated car,
right,
reeking of gasoline, just getting out of prison, has $3,000 in cash on him. He's a convicted felon, and he'd just been released from prison for shooting someone. So he got the full story out of him. So it worked. It worked.
Whoever that guy is, teach the other guy how to interrogate, or at least gain information that's useful.
I mean, yeah,
all he had was spiritual.
That's it.
And this car isn't worth being on the road.
That's all you got was spiritual experience out of him. You got nothing. That was bullshit. So
yeah.
They go back, talk to the dispatcher. They have a little powwow, sit down. What the hell are we doing here? Like, what's going on? So they go, let's go talk to him again. This is a trip, right? So they head on back. Let's go talk to him.
He's so much fun. Let's go ask him more questions.
That's what I mean. Let's ask him more stuff. Just ask him whatever. Like, well, just whatever you want. Just ask him what his favorite movie is. It's probably something crazy. It's probably nuts. It's probably like the worst movie. He's going to come out and he's going to be like just something terrible. He's going to be like Gigli, and you're going to be like, what? How did that happen? It hasn't even been made yet. What's wrong with you? Anyway, so
Martin Lawrence Blue Streak. That's my favorite. Was that what it's called? No, it wasn't.
It is. It's got funny parts though.
Does it?
Dave Chappelle's in it, so
it's hard to argue with anything he's in.
When he's whooping Dave Chappelle's ass and they're standing outside going, that's federal government training right there. And he puts the phone book up to him and he's like beating Chappelle. He's like, that's old school. They're like, yeah. That's funny, but the rest of it sucks. So after they go back to him and they go, hey, buddy, hey, Johnny Spiritual here. Just out of curiosity, do you have any stolen merchandise, weapons, drugs, anything like that in the vehicle? And he's like, oh, God, of course not. No, sir. Gee, I just got out of jail.
I'm not allowed to have that.
You kidding me? I have a car that has that was never made, but outside of that, no.
I'm in a car that doesn't exist, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in a ghost car, yes. Yes, I'm in a ghost car, but outside of that, I'm a normal man.
Right.
I'm fine. I'm just driving a ghost car on a spiritual experience to Texas. What the fuck? What the fuck is so hard to understand about that? Huh? I got a ghost car driving to Texas. So they said they request and receive permission to search the car. Mm-hmm. Can we search it? Sure. What the hell? Why not?
Yeah, get in here.
So the search begins there, and before the search is complete, the other trooper who came and got the information, he had to leave the scene to assist somebody else in a traffic stop.
It's your lucky day, buddy.
Well, yeah, because the searches aren't conducted when only one officer is on the scene. The trooper says, we got to wait a while. I'm going to back up off the search, and we're going to sit here till we get somebody else to come watch me do this.
Wow.
So during the 15-minute intermission there, while another officer came in, they continued to have a conversation. The troopers asked him, so why does your paperwork smell like gasoline? Just curious. That's a weird one. Goff responded that he kept a gas can in the back of the car in case he ran out of gas. Okay, so that makes your driver's license reek of gasoline. Okay.
It's in everything.
It gets all up in the cracks of everything, all up in the crevices. So the troopers said that, and so also, Goff also during all this mentions his girlfriend, to which the trooper said, well, where's she at now? Mm-hmm. Where's she at now? Whoever. He just says my girlfriend, and he goes, well, where's she at?
Very valid question, though.
I don't see her, Was she not spiritual or what? What's happening? So he said at this point, Goff's demeanor changed completely, and he went from being talkative and friendly to very quiet. Yeah. And his response, Jimmy, this is better than a spiritual experience. His response is he wouldn't say much, and then when pressed, he went, I lost her in Lucedale. Lost her? Like in a poker game? Like, fuck, or like you lose a dog. You can't lose an adult. If you can't find them, that means that they left and they're probably running from you. Yeah. You don't lose an adult. Like they're not losable, I don't think.
I loosed in Lucedale.
I loosed him in Lucedale. I got a T-shirt that says that too. I lose my girl in Lucedale. You know how it goes. So he lost her. So this cop is just like, whoa, what am I dealing with this fucking lunatic here?
His answers are each one's better than the last, though. It's getting better and better. This is
awesome. Wait till they get him to the police station. Yeah. It's something else. So he explained the day before him and his girlfriend stopped in Lucedale. They checked into a motel room, but after they got into a fight, he took off. So that was that. So the trooper asks, quote, well, aren't you going to go back and pick her up? Like, you just going to leave her there? He didn't respond to that. He just kind of shrugged his shoulders. So at this point, the trooper said he was puzzled and also concerned that his girlfriend might be injured if she even existed at all.
Right.
I mean, the car doesn't exist, so maybe the girlfriend's bullshit too. Who knows? So he said at that point he contacted the authorities in southern Mississippi to determine whether they're searching for Goff. They go, let me see if anybody's looking for this guy. He's a real asshole. Someone must want to talk to him, I bet. So he learns from the George County Sheriff's Office that Goff is a person of interest in a fucking dismemberment. So maybe take him in. There's organs everywhere, literally. Like, we got organs over here. So yeah, you might want to hold on to him. So the whole thing took an hour outside at the car for the searching and the stopping and all that shit. So after being informed that he's going to be under arrest here temporarily, the sheriff sends investigators to get him and his vehicle there. So that day also, Margaret Clark, the desk clerk at the hotel who made the keys, identifies a photograph of Goff as being the man who visited the front desk the night before. That makes sense. The detective, another detective, said through the assistance of the authorities in Alabama, he got the photograph of Goff. They did this pretty goddamn quick, I got to say, and they got it all to him. He said that because the investigators did not know for several hours how the organs were removed from Brandy's body, we had no idea at the time that those large organs and intestines had been removed from that hole until much later that night when the body was actually removed from the scene.
Sweet Jesus.
What he did is fucking insanity.
It's a small hole?
Yeah. He yanked, I'll tell you in a second here.
Oh, my God.
His mother, Leslie Goff, privately retains private attorneys for him, which is, for a murder case, is not cheap. So his family's got to have a couple of bucks. And we'll say one other thing that happened, too, in a minute here. So the autopsy is performed by Dr. Stephen Hain. He determines the cause of Brandy's death was 4 slash wounds to the neck, which cut through 2 major blood vessels, the left jugular vein and the left common carotid artery.
Slit her throat 4 times.
Just fucking cut everything up. Yeah,
wow.
Slashed her all over the place. In addition to the lethal slash wounds, Dr. Hain found that Brandy had suffered numerous other injuries, including gaping wounds inflicted by blunt force trauma over the right facial area, in the front surface of the neck and right to middle lower chest wall.
Beat her open?
He cut her open with bashing her in the head, broke the skin open. He beat her with the nightstand drawer.
Wow.
That's what he beat her with, the nightstand drawer. This whole crime, his murder weapon is the nightstand, because wait till you see what else he did with pieces of the nightstand.
Holy shit.
Yeah, this is fucking really bad. Yeah, if you don't like gore, or just don't like descriptions of gross shit, maybe fast forward a little bit, but this is fair warning here. So as if that wasn't bad enough already. Numerous bone fractures were present in the facial area, the right chest wall, and the rib cage. Brandy's teeth were knocked out. Like most of them.
Wow.
That's a terrible beating.
With a nightstand.
In the nightstand. Fragments of charred toothpicks were located in the neck and facial area.
Charred toothpicks?
So, toothpicks were stuck in her, and then they burned in the fire because they're made of wood.
Wow.
Think about that. That's...
Why would you...
I don't know. To torture somebody? Be the only way to stick toothpicks in them? I mean, that's
going a bit far.
I think most of this is going a little far at this point, and that's just some weird, some shit that, if this person got away, that would be a big deal with the profilers. You know what I mean? Toothpicks sticking out. What was that about? It's staging.
Right, but he's staging. It's so personal, too. How do you get this personal with somebody that you've known for 3 weeks? You know what I mean? That's bananas.
Yeah, well, this guy I don't think is a normal guy based on his past and everything else. This is maybe cousins shouldn't fuck is what I'm getting at.
It's a pretty good call.
Just possible here.
Keep the DNA separate.
Yeah, let's do that here. So toothpicks located in the neck and facial area, a small silver metal screw, and 2 pieces of splintered wood were removed from Brandy's scalp hair as well.
Yeah.
So organs, Jesus Christ, including portions of the small and large bowels, intestines, and the spleen, had been torn out of Brandy's body via the hole in her chest.
Wow.
So this wasn't
deep.
Yeah, this wasn't like somebody cut somebody open and took the organs out. There was a hole. They reached in and grabbed shit and just pulled it out and threw it around the room.
Wow.
Think about that. The fucking frenzy you have to be in to open up a small hole enough to reach inside to yank organs out, just enough to get your hand in and the organs out.
He had to get He had to get to the elbow. Those are low.
This is fucking insane,
man.
From her chest. And charring injuries were present all over the body as well.
I'm sure, yeah.
So we'll find out what he used to inflict the incision as well here in a second. So Mississippi Crime Lab investigators come in. Stacy Smith, who's a forensic scientist at the Mississippi Crime Lab, arrives at 1 p.m. She enters the motel room. I almost called it a hotel. Let's calm down here.
Right, come on.
She notices that a layer of soot covered the entire room, that the curtains, beds, lamps, and floor were damaged, and that the victim's feet were visible on the floor between the beds. The victim's organs were also lying on the floor throughout the room. Physical evidence recovered during this whole thing, search of the crime scene, and later introduced would be a pillow without a pillowcase, a bag of toothpicks, as well as toothpicks lying around the room, loose ones, a gas can, a pack of cigarettes, a metal drawer track, which appeared to contain bloody fingerprints, tissue and blood, and two white 2-holed buttons. So, buttons that would go. He used the metal track on the nightstand drawer.
Wow, he pulled that out of the drawer.
He took that off of the drawer because it said there was a screw stuck in her head, so he probably beat her until it probably broke off. And then he used that to open up a hole in her chest, reach in, and fucking pull organs out.
Unbelievable.
Then stuck toothpicks in her neck and head all over it.
Shit.
What the fuck is going on?
And then,
this is one of the worst. This is one of the worst that we've dealt with. This is crazy. Wow. A lot of photographs taken, obviously, of this, and they are horrific, man, as you can imagine. So the search, they talk about this. Search of his car, a more detailed search. They found on the passenger seat a blue flannel shirt, underneath which was a white pillowcase, which is, they're missing a pillowcase over there. Inside the pillowcase was a shirt, a piece of wood containing what appeared to be blood and a tissue, and an Econo Lodge notepad containing a note from Brandy. The note said, quote, "Joseph went to see kids, be back soon."
Okay. So they're staying at an Econo Lodge somewhere else.
Somewhere else they must have been at an Econo Lodge. So on the passenger side floorboard, a baseball cap, 2 shoes, a white glove containing reddish stains, an empty pizza box, they were all found. The bottom of the left shoe appeared to have blood and tissue located between the treads.
Sure.
Jesus Christ.
Trekking all over the room.
Yeah, walking all over, and he took them off and kept them in the car. That's good.
Good Lord.
Also recovered from the vehicle were a plastic trash bag, or a plastic plash bag, if you've heard her, sure, a long time, which contained cigarette butts, pizza crust, and a pink-colored blade guard from a disposable razor. Okay. That's what's in there. Now, the shirt that was found inside the pillowcase, the investigator will later say that there was a large amount of a reddish substance, what appeared to be blood, on the front of the shirt, and the back of this shirt, back of the same shirt, contained smaller stains of what appeared to be blood also. The investigator here, she noted that the shirt was missing 4 white 2-holed buttons, which appeared to be the same as the buttons recovered in the motel room. Right. So we're missing 2 buttons out there somewhere. Also recovered from the vehicle, and this is important, was a woman's wallet, which was found in the area of the console of the car. The wallet was removed from the vehicle, and it contained Brandy's driver's license, social security card, photos of her children, the children's birth certificates, their Medicaid cards, her social security card, a carrot cake recipe.
What?
She's a normal person. She likes carrot cake. I mean, you think about a murder victim, all that. That's what you have going on in your life. You see a carrot cake recipe, you go, oh, well, maybe I'll make that later. You know what I mean? No matter what's going on, you're leaving your husband, the Bama barn, getting your organs removed.
Yeah.
You also want a carrot.
You better hang on to that. Yeah.
Sometime in the middle there, you might want a carrot cake. So
it's a tough thing to make.
It's not eeasy to make a good carrot cake.
It is delicious.
They're goddamn delicious. So, carrot cake recipe and $509 in cash. You remember him saying on the phone at his mom's house, I gave you $500? Right. This is 10 $50 bills, a 5 and 2 ones. Okay. So it's clearly from a bank. You know what I mean? 10 50s like that. And $2 in quarters as well. So that equals $509. So a forensic biologist with the crime lab examined the physical evidence seized, and they tried to locate possible biological material and collect and preserve as much material so that they could do DNA later. Upon visual examination of the metal track of the nightstand drawer, an investigator noticed a reddish-brown stain. She collected the stain and tested it and identified as human blood. Right. She swabbed the right shoe recovered from the vehicle. It's also human blood, so that's all proved. The investigator also noticed that she examined the tread of the left shoe and noticed it was caked with a tissue-like substance and red and brown stains. Oh, Jesus Christ. She had not tested it as to leave the impression of the shoe print undisturbed. She didn't want to fuck it up. So she also noted that the shirt recovered from Goff's vehicle was saturated with stains and stated that the patterns of brown and red on top of each other indicated the presence of tissue and coagulated blood. No DNA testing was performed on any of the evidence, and the testing conducted did not identify the source of blood because it was kind of obvious where the source of blood was. So they get Goff into the police station. They're going to sit him down and talk with him. And this guy, they're like, whoa. Yeah. They've heard of the crime scene. They've heard his answers. They're like, this dude is fucking weird. Yeah. Clearly, he's a problem. So they sit him down. This is the morning of August 28th, 2004, because they had to get him back from Vicksburg and all that shit. So he arrives at the George County Sheriff's Department. He's given Miranda warnings and then interviewed by Detective Lambert. During the interview, he explains, because they ask him, what's up with the marks on your body? And he said they'd been inflicted by Brandy. Yeah. Brandy's been hitting me, knocking me around. He said during a physical altercation that they had right after they got to the motel, she said that he slapped her on the head after that because she was attacking him. Right. Quote, slapped her on the head, which is a weird way to put domestic violence.
He didn't smack her on the head. He hit her in the fucking face.
He hit her a lot.
Yeah.
So he indicated that the altercation began with him accusing Brandy of being sexually unfaithful to him and not wanting to be with him anymore. It's been 3 weeks. What are you talking about?
Also,
and you're
she's
living
still married.
That's what I mean. You're living in motels together. What?
Right.
When is she stepping out? Like, what are you talking about? This dude is nuts, man. He's nuts. This is crazy. And according to Goff, after this whole thing, she hit him, he hit her, blah, blah, blah. He just left. He said upon returning to the motel later that night, the first thing he noticed when he opened the motel room door was a note written by Brandy. It wasn't until after he shut the door behind him that he noticed a smell. He noticed a note and then a smell. Yeah. So he said that he described the scene and the state of Brandy's body. She's already dead when I got there. It was brutal. He says that he said that the body, quote, was mutilated, the face and everything crushed in. That's what he said. He said that it, quote, it looked like someone had reached in through a hole in her chest and pulled out all her organs and then slung them all over the room.
So he's saying that's how he found her.
That's how he found her. They didn't know how they got the organs out at that point. They didn't know where the fuck they looked at this and they're like, how the fuck did these organs get out of this body? Is this like magic? Yeah. They didn't realize through the small hole. They were wondering how that happened, and we're going to find out through testing. He just said that's how he found it. So it looked like someone must have reached in there and pulled them all out.
Wow.
Which the medical examiner couldn't even figure that out yet. But
only one person knew that.
He can take a glance at it and tell when organs have been pulled through a hole in the body. So, and slung them all over the room. He said
that's a worrisome man. Holy shit! Even if he didn't do it, if he just happened upon a body and saw it like that and knew exactly how it...
I'm very disturbed by that.
Yeah. He's scary as fuck.
I'm absolutely fucking disturbed by that. So, oh my God. Yeah, he said that after he found the body, he quote, proceeded to lie on top of her body for over an hour, quote, and just hold her.
Yeah. Spiritual.
Yeah, no, an organless person. I'm just going to hold her. He stated, quote, I laid there and I held her, kissed her head and everything else before I got up. So he was just very sad. Just laid with her, had just a time. He said that he then became worried that he would be considered a suspect. My God, they could blame this on me.
Yeah.
I'm
crazy.
I'm just a poor boy. Nobody loves me. This is ridiculous.
I'm just out here snuggling corpses.
What the fuck? Yeah, I'm just the corpse snuggler. What the hell's going on here? I'm the great Southern corpse smuggler. That's all. You don't know that? Dixie's own? What the fuck?
Wow.
They call me the Dixie corpse snuggler. What you thinking? So the name of this episode is the Dixie corpse snuggler, right? I don't see how it's not now.
Pretty good.
God damn it, it's corpse snuggler.
If they don't, even with one body, if you don't call that guy the snuggler, what you're blowing it. You
really are.
You've lost already.
You know, if they knew that he snuggled her and he got away, then it would be like we're on the hunt for the snuggler. That would be. It doesn't sound that menacing, but when you really think about it, it's really creepy.
Menacing as hell.
It's the most menacing. So he said that, he's worried. He's like, oh, shit. Oh, man. They're going to think I did it. I'd never hurt my brandy. No. So, oh, no. He said, quote, this is his, he said this to cops in they gave him a Miranda warning, okay?
Yeah.
This is what it's great. They said, hey, buddy, you don't have to tell us anything. It's really going to fuck you up if you do. And he said, oh, no, I snuggled with a corpse because I figured someone pulled all the organs out the hole in her chest, and then I kissed her on the head and laid there. That's what he told police officers. Oh, okay. Then he said these. Then he said these words while clearly being, his words are being noted, like by police. This wasn't casual. He wasn't out by the fucking water cooler when this happened. He says, "quote So I stole everything out of the room that might have had my fingerprints on it and wiped the room down." So they're like, "All right, then what?" He said, "Okay, well, so then I went down." And I went down and put all these items in my car. He said, then I backed up the car to the front of the room, grabbed a pair of white gloves that he had with him in the car, along with a gas can. He said he went back in the room, and this is his quote, poured the gas, threw the can, and set it on fire, and then left.
Wow.
Why would you do that if you didn't do anything? I'll set the room. And also, is there a smoke detector in this fucking building?
Right. The manager shows up and just sees fire damage.
There was a fire, man. If I smoked a cigarette in a hotel room, I'd be fine. They would knock on my door. They'd know what was happening. This guy's literally setting a room on fire and no one notices till the next day. That's what. Didn't see smoke pouring out of the door?
Right.
Like, no one saw this?
What a bizarre story in the he can't really expect to get away. Like, they're just going to go, thank you so much for the information. Head on your way and go find more corpses to cuddle puddle with. What the fuck is happening?
Make sure to re-up that temp tag, though.
Right.
So at this point, they withdraw the original request for DNA testing because Goff already admitted he was in the hotel room and laid on top of her, and that's where the blood came from. So they don't need DNA testing now because they have him admitting it. So it's better. Plus,
we know it's hers.
You never do DNA testing unless you have to, is why the cops do it, because just by some... Well, no, not because it's expensive. What if it doesn't say what you want it to say?
That's a good thing, too.
By some weird thing, and then you're fucked is what it is.
What if it's animal DNA? And
Never go looking for more evidence when you have some evidence is kind of how they work it. Yeah. So the indictment comes down, 2-count indictment for him, charges him with capital murder, the underlying felony being robbery during the murder because he took everything. And second,
cuddling.
And creepy cuddling. That's exactly. It was a creepy corpse cuddling, the triple C, they call it. Statute 501 triple C, I believe they call that in the state of Mississippi. So this is also second-degree arson he's charged with, and he pleads not guilty to these charges. In court, so his mom hired him 2 lawyers. So he doesn't have a public defender. He's got pay lawyers, as they call it.
Yeah.
So right away, he is a step above most murder people, okay? Right away, he's doing well. He says, what's the dumbest thing I could do?
Fire him.
What's the stupidest thing I could do in the world? I know. I'm going to represent myself.
Yeah.
Because all this time in prison and my spiritual experiences and my corpse snuggling has really made me a legal fucking genius. So he does, and the judge says that he tells the judge that, and the judge says, fine, go ahead. He says you have to have the other 2 with you to assist you. You have them there. Right. But otherwise, it's on you, asshole. You want to do it? He says you're competent. You seem sane and, lucid. So, screw it. I mean, like, why? I get the desire to, like, rep yourself if you're a narcissist who thinks you're the smartest person in the world, number one, or you think no one is going to care about my case like me. This is my life. It's not their life. No one cares about this as much as me. I will dot all the I's and cross all the T's. But that is like saying I'm going to replace all the plumbing in my house because no one cares about my house as much as me, even though I don't know shit about pipes.
Right.
Guess what? Your caring does not replace the knowledge of someone who knows what the fuck they're doing in that category. It just doesn't. It never will.
It's really hard to sweat pipes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just hard, and people know how to do that shit. So just let them do it. So the judge thoroughly examined him to make sure that he was knowingly and intelligently and voluntarily waiving his right. And, he said that he cautioned him. He said that, quote, asking to represent yourself at trial on the most serious felony crime that could be committed, and it puts you at a serious disadvantage. And then he said, nope, absolutely go and do it. So first thing they try to do is throw out everything from the traffic stop.
Yeah.
They're trying to get that all suppressed, all the evidence.
The ghost car. I want to know nothing about it.
Hey, if the ghost car disappears, like it never existed.
What's his theory of strategy? How's he getting that out? How's he going to do it?
He's saying that the search was not it shouldn't have been a search, basically.
Okay.
They kept
illegal
him there.
Search and seizure.
He's also saying that because he was kept there an hour, he was basically held without being charged. He's saying it's a constitutional thing. He's saying so. Goff responded he did not have any drugs or weapons or anything when he was asked. They said that he consented to the search of the vehicle. The totality of the search, apparently, by the first trooper who was there, because everything else they found was later when they got it to process.
Right.
The first one consisted of opening a carton of cigarettes and searching the center console, and they found that's where they found the rolls of $50 bills because he's got all 50s, and so did Brandy. So that, So the search ends after the rolls of money were found because the other cop had to leave at that point, like we said. So that's how that worked. Now, the mental competency also. He's saying that they should file for mental competency hearing and everything like that. And apparently his attorney, that he's working with, that his mom's paying for, had come to believe that he has a history of mental illness and he has been treated by mental health professionals while he was incarcerated in Alabama. And he said, as an attorney for the defendant, I question the defendant's competency to stand trial and believe that it's essential for a mental examination to be conducted because of, quote, the defendant has engaged in bizarre behavior during the past several years. Most of which would be corpse snuggling and organ pulling, I think would be the most. So that would be there. The court hears this. The counsel for him, this is the counsel for him, he said, and when I came over here at first to represent him, I told him, due to the horrendousness of the allegation, that we ought to look into some kind of maybe not guilty by reason of insanity or some type of looking into his competency at the time the event was done. We've been looking at this and through everything, I haven't seen any evidence that he's crazy. He just seems like a real asshole.
I mean, he certainly does crazy shit.
Yeah.
I don't know that he's crazy.
Exactly.
He just does wild, inexplicable things.
Yeah.
Essentially crazy.
if we judge by what they did, then Ted Bundy's crazy, Dahmer's crazy. They're all fucking crazy. They're all crazy. You know what I mean? So that's whatever. So, I mean, he just seems like a real, outside of what he did, he doesn't seem crazy. That's what I mean. Outside of that act. Right. I mean, he just seems like a real asshole, but you can't fucking say, Your Honor, I'd like to put in a plea of not guilty by reason of my client's a fucking asshole. In a clinical sense, he's just an asshole. It's a medical thing.
My client is a clinical asshole.
He's a clinical asshole. I'm sorry, Your Honor. It's just, it's hard to deal with. During the conference, counsel informed the trial court that Goff was a difficult client, that he was a child of incest. Apparently that's important for this client privilege here, and that Goff had suffered psychotic episodes. Counsel also said he had no trouble communicating with Goff, though, and at the conclusion of this conference, defense counsel amended the request for a mental evaluation and basically said, I guess he's fine. He requested the evaluation was for mitigation purposes only for later on, if he gets convicted. So also they explained that he's no longer requesting it again. He said he could find no independent background of Mr. Goff where he would have had any psychiatric care or psychologist care or any indication that he would not be competent to stand trial or that he was legally insane at the time of the offense. That's his own lawyer saying that. So, that all comes down here. Now, the trial, the prosecution in the opening, he gets, by the way, I can't not picture the guy from My Cousin Vinny when I picture like a very Southern trial prosecutor.
Stuttering guy,
No, the prosecutor in the prosecutor of My Cousin Vinny. I just picture him. Yeah, it's just, I just picture him just like a glove.
You're going down, son. I'm going to put you in prison forever.
And she, this is what the district attorney says to the prospective jurors before they're impaneled. Quote, she worked as a cocktail waitress at a bar in Alabama where she worked to help support her family. And you're going to hear from her husband, and she left 24 days before her death with the defendant. Now, the question I have for y'all is, you're a fucking district attorney. I'm sorry. Will you hold that against the state of Mississippi that she worked in a bar? Some people just don't like that. Some people think you ought not work in a bar. Can everybody tell me that her profession or her career that she was doing all the time will not affect your verdict? Can everybody tell me that you can follow the law? Because the law doesn't say you have the right to life unless you're a cocktail waitress, or you have the right to life unless you left your kids 24 days before with another man. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say that. And I need to know. And it's all right. Again, as the judge told you, this is America. We can believe what we want, and that's the great thing about our country. But we need to know now, because if that's going to bother you, we have to know. So can everybody tell me the following, that they can follow the laws given to you by the court? So there's that. That's what he says. That's one of the, he says to the jurors. Then he also says, if you watch a lot of TV, you probably get to watch, I don't know, how many this is him talking like this because he's kind of whatever. Yeah. How many of you watch CSI? Well, raise your hand. See, there's a lot of you. It's a very popular show. My kids love it. All right. That's what he says. My kids love it. All right. They're older and they love that show. They like Law and Order too. But can everybody tell me that they can separate what they see on TV from what you see in the courtroom? I know that sounds like a silly question, but people go, oh, well, it was on CSI. How come they don't do that in every case? All right. And I can tell you how I know. I know CSI and Law and Order are make-believe. If you flip the channel, you may see Scotty beaming someone else up, and that's on TV. All right. He's like, TV isn't real. So can everybody tell me again? This kind of goes to the burden of proof, what evidence you have and can tell everybody. He says that DNA or they don't have fingerprints and things you may see or hear about on CSI. Can everybody tell me that they can do that? So basically, this is called the CSI effect. Mm-hmm. And they have been, before CSI, this has been going on. In the homicide book, they talk about in the beginning of a murder trial, the prosecutor talking to the jury saying, on TV, you see this and this on these cop shows. That's not how the shit works. Right. It's not. We don't always have the fingerprints and a bloody thumbprint on the handle of the knife and shit like that. That's not how it works. Most cases are circumstantial, and that's just how it works. So this, though, now it's called the CSI effect. It's a thing that lawyers talk about all the time, and it's crime scene investigation basically has a the jurors want to see that stuff. They want DNA, fingerprints for surveillance footage because that's what they have on CSI. Yeah. So they think that's the only way you can solve the case.
That takes the guilt and burden off of me saying this guy's guilty. The evidence says he's guilty. I don't have to say shit. Doesn't hurt me. I can sleep great at night while this guy's frying.
Exactly. Then it goes to omission, commission at that point, and you're talking about that, where you'd rather you take it out of your hands. It's, well, I mean, shit, I don't know. I didn't see that, and that's what it's like on CSI.
Yeah.
So it's weird. Now, during the opening statement of the prosecutor at trial, he says on August the 2nd, Brandy Yates was 29 years old. So she left the day before her birthday, by the way. That's weird. She had a husband named James. She had a son, 8 years old, James the 4th, and she had a daughter named Sissy. That is very Mississippi.
It really is.
Her mother, Carolyn, her father, Jack, her sister, Crystal, and her brother, Jeff, loved her dearly and cared for her greatly. On August the 2nd, they could not understand the decision Brandy had made, a decision to leave her family to go with that man right there. You can see him pointing, the defendant you see in this courtroom. Now, Brandy, you will hear, was a cocktail waitress in a bar in Alabama. She worked there to help support her family. James worked construction.
Yeah.
She met Mr. Goff at that bar, and for reasons we will probably never know, she made a decision to go with him. But at the time, all the concern, all the love, no one ever dreamed that 24 days later she would end up dead in room 121 of the Rocky Creek Inn here in Lucedale, Mississippi. So that's the opening now. Their case, the state's, is that Goff crushed her head using a nightstand drawer and used the metal track to mutilate her body, pull her fucking organs out, then stabbed toothpicks into her head, slashed her throat a bunch of times, and set the room on fire.
What a story.
Yeah. So they said that he went back to get what was rightfully his, which was the money in Brandy's wallet, which was that they found in her wallet on him. The evidence, though, supports the theory there. They think they presented it through what they did here is they talked about his departure from the motel. They set it up, the timeline through James's calls to the hotel to get a hold of his wife and all that, that Brandy feared Goff's return. And based on the motel clerk's testimony, when Goff returned to the motel, he came back and forth and all that sort of shit. So that seemed like she was trying to keep him out of the room type of thing. Also, additional evidence is presented that Goff had received a significant sum of money from his mother for a business that he had planned to start. So he had thousands of dollars on him. There's also evidence there that Goff supported Brandy over this time because she didn't have a bunch of money to run away. Right. She had whatever she had in tips the night she left, probably, and that was it.
So hard to leave.
Dude,
that's expensive.
Yeah, it is. It really is. That's why air mattresses are a thing. So. And that Goff was the source of the cash found in her wallet, which makes sense because that was all 50s. So that all makes sense. Now, during the trial, Goff presented evidence implying that James had that the defense here comes up. The whole story is her husband, James, came there and killed her because she was mad at her for running away with Goff.
Okay.
That's the story. Well, he was the one calling all night, and then, all of a sudden now she's dead.
I pop in, she's dead. I give her a snuggle. I leave. I set the room ablaze because I don't want everybody to catch the guy.
I don't want him to blame me for it, and it's obviously him.
Right.
I mean, he probably snuggled her too. So this is, from a defense point of view, he's like, who has more motivation to kill her than her husband who she left and fucked over and all this sort of thing. So that's what he's trying to say. He says that Goff sought to elicit testimony from James that he didn't question James himself. He had one of the other attorneys do it, so James didn't burst forth from the stand and choke him to death in the middle of the fucking courtroom. So
bring his own nightstand drawer.
Yeah, bring my own drawer there. We've never had a nightstand drawer be a murder weapon before.
I've never even thought to consider that as like an option for some. Even watching shows when they're like, and then she sat by the bedside table. I wouldn't be like, he killed her with the bedside table.
Yeah, I bet he ripped a drawer out, beat her with it, then took the metal track out and cut her open with it and tore organs out.
Never.
No, who would think that shit?
No.
So here it is. They get James on the stand, and they said, quote, "You said you were having marital problems, right?" And he said, "Correct." Fucking obviously, dummy. She left with a bar asshole.
That guy.
Left with a felon from the bar. Then they said, "And you were on again, off again with her. Is that right?" And he said, "We had split up one time before. This would be the second time." So they said, "Was it in 2004 you split up?" He said, "I would say 2003. So then the attorney says, was that over domestic violence that you all split up? And James said, no, sir. And the attorney said it had nothing to do with that. No, sir, from James. He said, was that ever a problem in your household? James said, direct problem? No, which is not the answer that you give.
It's a problem, yeah. But
direct problem? No.
It's not every day. It's not an everyday
just peripheral. You know how it is. So the lawyer said, sir, like, I don't understand what the fuck that means, just like we just did.
Yeah.
And James said, direct problem, no. Okay. So then the attorney said, a direct problem, but there was a problem with fights and stuff with y'all, wasn't there? And he said, there was disagreements and arguments, yeah. And the lawyer said, physical fights? And James said, physical fighting, no. And they said, the law was never called to your house. And he said, one time. And they said, how close to was that to August 2004 that the law was called to your house because of fighting? And he said 3 or 4 years ago. So it wasn't like July 25th. And it
ain't the catalyst, sir.
Clearly. Now, you poked around and found nothing there, basically.
The law was called or police
the law?
were called?
Now, they always say the law, like it's the fucking Duke boys. Like Boss Hogg and Roscoe Pete Coltrane are going to come down and get you.
What's happening?
So now the crux of his case is that the wallet that he was found in his possession when he was stopped shortly after the murder, that wasn't removed from the hotel room. That wasn't stolen, so it wasn't robbery.
It was left in my car.
It was left in my car, so it was just there, and I took off. So it wasn't robbery, so then I don't have an aggravator, so then it's not capital murder.
Okay.
Therefore. That's how that worked. So they have record that when she came in, she gave her driver's license, was given the key, like we said. She returned to the vehicle, drove to room 121, and the record shows also that he left and stated to the police that he did so when he left the one time away from her with the intentions of never coming back.
Yeah.
So Brandy was at the hotel stranded for about 8 hours before he came back again. During that time, she had 3 telephone conversations with her husband. They discussed plans for him to pick her up the next morning and all that sort of thing. There was no indication in the record that she ever mentioned being without her wallet or money at that point. So if he left with the car and the money, she'd probably be telling her husband, I don't even have any money. I'm sitting here in a room with nothing. I can't get dinner.
I need cash. Right.
I need something. So James testified during the trial that Brandy did not use banks. They didn't use the bank, this couple, stating, quote, we always kept our money at home or on us. Yeah. What is it? The fucking the depression? What the hell are you doing?
There's also probably not a lot.
No, but still, fuck, man. Among the items and the fact were, like we said, she had $10, $50 bills in her wallet, a 5, 2 ones, and $2 in quarters. So also, there was other items he admitted taking from the crime scene were an empty pizza box and a plastic trash bag, which I don't think that would qualify as robbery and a death penalty statute.
I don't know what the value of a plastic trash bag is, but I don't think it's crazy.
And an empty pizza box. I don't know what that.
I don't think it's very not affordable.
No. The investigator indicated the trash bag came from inside the hotel room, though. Motel, sorry. Yeah. Found inside there were cigarette butts, a pink-colored blade guard from a disposable razor, and a pizza crust. So, I mean, that all can be considered robbery. In closing here, the state's case, he said, quote, you were asked and you know all about CSI. Can you set that aside if it's not needed and return a verdict? And I asked you that, and you all said yes. So we asked to hold you to that. It's not necessary here, and it's not needed. The evidence is overwhelming. So Goff later on will say that these tactics were putting jurors, quote, in a box, saying they couldn't vote not guilty that way, based on that, which is it's just what DAs do. During the closing argument, they said, first off, the shirt. This is the DA. You can bring the shirt up, please. This is the shirt. He holds it up. Just look at the stain on the shirt. She told you there were droplets. All right. These are where the buttons are missing. Does that look like what you would get by laying on somebody? Now, I know he says he was there for an hour and a half, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, but that's a lot of blood, members of the jury. That's a lot of blood. Can you flip to the back, please? The back of the shirt. Look at these droplets. That is blood in motion. That is this. And he motions with his arm like a slashing motion, like he's going up back, and then the blood's dripping on the back of the shirt.
The back. Ew, yuck.
He said that's how that gets there. That ain't lying on top of her. How do you get blood on the back of your shirt when you're laying on top of a girl? What did he do? Lay on her and waddle onto the back too? Please. It makes no sense. Use your common sense. The shirt right there tells you he killed her.
Yeah.
That's that. So May 5th, 2005, Marissa Tomei comes up to the stand with all new evidence. No.
She can't wait to talk about the vehicle mechanics of it.
She pops in with all sorts of info about the white Mustang that we had no idea about and just springs him completely.
Yeah.
Springs him completely. No,
Ford Mustang has the same chassis as a Ford Thunderbird. They're built on the same frame.
Therefore, they're not guilty. And everyone's like, she's right. They
have the same motor and transmission.
Case dismissed. So the verdict comes in, and the jury finds Goff guilty on both second-degree arson and capital murder.
Yeah.
So that's
whole
bad.
Thing. Gotcha.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Sentencing comes up. It's a separate sentencing hearing, of course, obviously, and they try to get mitigating and aggravating factors is how that works here.
Yeah.
Goff claims that the, quote, that the record is replete with evidence which demonstrates the degree to which Goff is impaired mentally. Now he's mentally impaired again.
Yeah.
He wasn't before. The record demonstrates that he has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder with psychotic features. In particular, Goff references his bizarre behavior at trial and his inappropriate laughter during questioning by police, as well as the testimony of both Dr. Van Rosen and Leslie Goff, his mother, during sentencing that Goff was suffering from the disorder the night Brandy was killed. During the sentencing phase, Dr. Rosen stated that he interviewed Goff twice and explained the tests were used in an evaluation of Goff. He testified that Goff had a full-scale IQ score of 102, which is like dead average.
Yeah.
So he can't say he's he doesn't have a Gump situation going on. He's not.
You and I better never get arrested for murder, James, because they're going to be like, these two giggle about death all the time.
That would be the whole thing. Did you hear what they said about organs being strewn about the room? These two are fucking crazy. Well, they might think we're nuts then. That's good.
Yeah.
Dr. Rosen believed that Goff was, quote, trying very hard to convince him that he did not have a mental disorder, and that the results of the testing reveal that Goff does not want to be seen as mentally ill, which is why he said, don't say I'm mentally ill in the beginning. Right. The testing further indicated to Rosen that Goff had a, quote, terrifically bad self-image, and that Goff has, quote, periods of high energy, even excitement, and that he has a strong tendency towards substance abuse. Yeah. Well, yes, he has manic periods, then he gets depressed, and he has substance abuse issues to try to fucking
welcome to being an adult, motherfucker.
I was going to say, welcome to mental illness and shit. So the results of the ink blot test, oh, cool, they used an ink blot test.
Yeah, those are great.
He suggested to Dr. Rosen that Goff is, Jesus, this is the quote from Dr. Rosen. Goff is, quote, a gentleman who has periods. First of all, I'll call him a gentleman. He removed organs from a woman's body with a fucking drawer rail. Let's not call him a gentleman.
Because he saw a butterfly in the ink blots, he's a gentleman?
No, I think he just said it as like he would say with anybody. Is a gentleman who has periods of significant depression, pointed to probably a bipolar disorder. And based on his interviews, Dr. Rosen gave Goff a diagnosis of personality disorder with prominent antisocial and schizotypal traits, coupled with bipolar disorder and occasional psychotic features. Just an occasional psychotic feature now and then. It sounds like you're buying a car.
That diagnosis sounds much more like somebody that will pull your organs out of a hole in your chest.
That's much more like that, yeah.
Than gentleman that just, maybe leans on booze every now and again.
He seems like he's selling you a car, though. It's got all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
It's got the good brake system. I got the nice sound package in there. We got the leather seats and the occasional psychotic features, if you're looking for that, too. It's up on the dash. Here are all the buttons. And it's got schizotypal traits, too, running down the outsides. That's you can see that. So those lines are very nice.
Schizotypal traits are like racing stripes?
That's what they are, yeah. I don't know why. In my brain, that's what I saw them. So those are your racing straps there, boy. Well, I got some racing straps on him. Look at him with his schizotypal traits. So, with regard to the condition the night of the murder, Dr. Rosen believed that Goff was in the midst of a bipolar disorder psychotic episode. Okay, so that's what he's looking for. As proof of aggravating factors, the state presented evidence that he had been convicted of prior violent crimes, including the second-degree assault and discharge of a gun in an occupied building and vehicle. That's what he went to prison for. That Goff's act of setting the motel on fire knowingly had created a great risk of death to many persons. Yeah, you could have killed how many fucking people?
Untold.
Untold. That the capital offense had been committed while engaged in the commission of a crime of robbery. He committed the capital offense to avoid lawful arrest, and that the capital offense had been especially heinous, atrocious, and cruel. That I don't think that goes without saying.
Agreed.
Initially, during this, Goff directed his counsel not to present mitigation evidence to the jury. And then he eventually changed his mind, and the defense counsel presented evidence that he had a tumultuous childhood, as, incestuous things happen, probably. That Goff was the child of an incestuous relationship, that despite his average intelligence, he suffered from serious mental illness, and he's been suffering from a psychotic episode. So the jury finds the following aggravating circumstances: that he previously was convicted of a crime, that he knowingly created a great risk of death to many people, that he was engaged in the commission of a robbery, capital offense had been committed to avoid lawful arrest, basically everything, and that he was heinous, atrocious, and cruel. The jury says, you, sir, may fuck off, death penalty
All
for
right.
Mr. Goff.
Good.
And we're not enthusiasts for the death penalty, but
Certainly deserve it.
if you're getting fucking young mothers and disemboweling them like this in a fucking hotel room, we have, as a society, we don't really have a place for you at that point.
Right. You don't come back from that.
There's no seat at the table really here for what we're talking about. Like, this is crazy
listen,
shit.
I understand religious forgiveness, and he's still welcome to your kingdom of heaven over time and tithing and praying and apologizing, but he's not welcome in my fucking house.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand logic of just, all the reasons why it's stupid because it never happens. It's a waste of money. It's
Right.
this and that and all this shit. But at the same time, someone needs to fucking kill this guy. Like,
Right.
it's, like, this is terrible, man. We can't have this guy walking around.
I can't have that guy ever have the chance of getting out based on the fact I don't want him working in a McDonald's somewhere or paving my roads. I don't want him doing anything in public.
I don't want him also in jail with somebody who's in there for like dealing drugs or something.
Right.
They're not disemboweling people. This is crazy. Like, he's going to be dangerous to everybody. He's
pulled
convicted
a
also.
spleen out of her chest.
Yeah, he's also sentenced to 10 years for second-degree arson as well, just in case.
Yeah.
So he appeals, obviously. The crux of the whole appeal is the wallet, that the wallet wasn't stolen from the room, therefore it's not in commission of a robbery, therefore no death penalty, just murder. So just plain old murder, Jesus Christ. So 12 issues on appeal here he raises, and we'll go through them extra fast. The trial court erred in failing to suppress evidence, which resulted from the unreasonable seizure of his, basically saying they violated his Fourth Amendment rights by holding him on the side of the road there and searching his car. They dealt with that in the pretrial. It's fine. Right. Point 2 was the trial court erred in permitting Goff to act as his own trial attorney. You fucking asked and begged to what?
Yeah.
Waiver of counsel and right to proceed pro se. It's on there, man. He presents the issue whether the trial court erred, whether it allowed him to waive his Sixth Amendment right. Basically, he didn't have total by himself. They called it hybrid representation, which means he's part of the legal team, but he had 2 other attorneys, paid attorneys there to assist him.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. He always has assistance of counsel. They said the defendant's accessibility to counsel, whether and how often he consults with counsel up to the point of request, the stage of the trial which he requests a participatory role in his defense, the magnitude of the role he desires to assume, whether the trial court encourages immediate and constant accessibility of the counsel. Those are the parameters. They said it's clear from the record that his attorneys were not casual observers. Dean conducted voir dire, handled jury challenges, made numerous objections throughout the trial, conducted cross-examination of Margaret of 10 different fucking people. I'm not going to run through them all. A shitload of them.
Right.
By the way, there was another woman that they interviewed that testified during this named Rachel that also classified herself as Goff's girlfriend. So this guy has game.
Unbelievable.
He's got fucking game. So yeah, they said that they, participated in all this shit. He was never without the full assistance of counsel. Point 3, the evidence in the case is insufficient to prove that he's guilty of capital murder. That's the robbery and the wallet. And there's certain things like they said there's no biological evidence on the wallet, basically. So he's saying that there's no evidence that the wallet was ever in the motel room. He said it wasn't found among the crime scene items that were found on the floorboard of the vehicle or in the pillowcase on the passenger seat. And they said that there's a lack of sufficient evidence to support that. They said that because it says that there's no fingerprints on it, there's no blood on it from that, no biological evidence was found on the wallet, and the state failed to test the item for fingerprints. So they're saying the wallet, we don't know where the fuck it was. There's no blood all over it or anything like that. So the investigator said that she stated that she did not submit the wallet to crime scene laboratory for testing because there did not appear to be any biological evidence of any sort that required a submission. So basically that's what he's going on. Also prosecutorial misconduct, saying that the CSI effect speech was something that was bad, that was no good, and that no witness testified as to how the blood may have gotten on the back of his shirt, and that the prosecutor was speculating about how the blood would got on the back of his shirt by making a sarcastic thing of how would he waddle around. Mm-hmm. That's what they're saying here. He also, another ineffective assistance of counsel. Point 6 here, he says that a court erred by refusing to grant a properly submitted circumstantial evidence to theory instruction. So he's saying the judge should have told them there's one theory saying he did it, then there's another theory saying also you should look at the husband as well. Yeah. So why isn't that a thing? So he also said the death sentence must be vacated because the indictment failed to charge a death penalty eligible offense, because they're saying, if he didn't rob, then that wasn't that, and it goes all the way back to that. And then also his execution by lethal injection is no good because of all the lethal injection drug issues at the time. That's another one. They said that error was committed when certain aggravating factors were submitted to the jury. That's another thing. He says that error was committed when certain aggravating factors were there. In particular, he says that that there was insufficient evidence to support 3 of the aggravating factors: that the killing took place while commission of a robbery, that he knowingly created a great risk of death to many persons. You set a fucking motel on fire.
Right.
You knew that could spread at night and kill people while they sleep. Jesus Christ. And also that the killing was committed for the purpose of avoiding or preventing arrest. So he does not challenge, though, that it was that it was especially heinous and cruel, which that'd be hard to go. It was fine. I thought it was a nice way to kill somebody.
It's a fair fight.
It's a fair fight. We was legal. He's legal. He also says the court, this is the proportionality of his sentence, that he shouldn't have gotten the death sentence. Mm-hmm. He said, but the court says they find no proof that he of any mental defect to any degree, with the exception of Dr. Rosen's testimony. And this testimony is based on Goff's unverified self-reporting of past problems. This wasn't like in records or any bullshit like that. While Dr. Rosen stated that Goff was not terrifically cooperative, that's one way to put it, Goff would not allow him access to his past psychiatric records, and that Goff provided only vague information in response to questions. So also, cumulative error, finally. The cumulative error requires the reversal of the conviction and the sentence in this matter. He says that the court, should they not find any one error sufficient to warrant reversal of the death sentence, the accumulation of all of these errors, a little of column A and a little of column B, you throw in a piece of column C, right. You got yourself no death penalty. I mean, one thing, that's a lot to ask for, but, right. Little things like that. So that's what he says basically here. So the conclusion is Goff's conviction and death sentence were properly decided by a jury, and they affirm both the conviction and the sentence. This is the High Court of Mississippi. Mm-hmm. But it's affirmed 5-4. So it's fucking close.
4 people think no?
think he should be remanded for new sentencing because there was no proof that wallet was in that fucking motel room, which there really isn't any proof the wallet was in the motel room.
I don't know.
All we're going on is that she didn't say that she didn't have any money, so she probably had money in there. So as far as death penalty proof goes, that's pretty slim.
It is.
You know? I mean, it should be he disemboweled her with a goddamn fucking, with the railing of a nightstand. You know how creatively sick that is?
She's dead. There's your murder. And how she died,
Jesus
that
Christ.
should be enough.
Yeah, man. It's fucking crazy. It's wild. So the one judge says, though, here, quote, this is one of them here, the evidence does not, of course, altogether eliminate the possibility that Goff stole the wallet in the same continuous transaction that led to Mrs. Yates' death. As the majority correctly asserts, the record in this case does lend itself to the hypothesis that Mrs. Yates did, in fact, take her wallet in with her from Goff's car into the motel room, and that Goff later robbed her of this article of personal property. I agree that this hypothesis, obviously consistent with guilt, is a reasonable one, and the jury could reasonably have inferred that from the evidence. The proof in this case, however, falls far short of excluding all reasonable hypotheses consistent with with innocence of robbery, because the location of the wallet during Goff's barbaric act is a fact to which the evidence does not speak. I gotta kind of agree with that. Based on the evidence and the evidence alone, and it is just as reasonable, if not more reasonable, to infer the wallet remained in the car as Goff returned to Alabama while he perpetuated this brutal murder and during his flight from the crime scene. Yet the majority declines to analyze this hypothesis. They're just not even fucking hearing it. Like, it's clearly, obviously, if you were looking at it legally, there's no evidence for robbery, but they're like, it's fine, fuck him. Like, he took her spleen out. We don't care.
That's the part that really puts it over. She has parts of her that aren't inside her anymore.
Yeah, and are all over the room that are sitting on top of the CRT fucking tube TV we got here. This is bad.
It's a lot.
So, yeah, they talk about the judge says they talk about the word wallet being absent from the account of the – basically, they're going into such detail of the account of the motel clerk didn't say that she took her license and put it in her wallet and walked away. She just said she took her license back and walked away. So they're like, it doesn't say she had her wallet then. She might have just had her license. But then at some point, the license got back into the fucking wallet. So sometime after she checked in, she had possession of the wallet to at least put her license back in.
There you go.
Whether she took it into the room or not, we're not sure. Mm-hmm. It's a goddamn fucking disaster. We'll put it that way. So they end up affirming this whole thing. But it ends up going all the way to the Supreme Court of the United States.
The top one.
This asshole here.
Yeah.
So, case was originally affirmed by the Mississippi Supreme Court, but then remanded back to the state from the Supreme Court, and then was remanded by the Mississippi High Court for a new sentencing hearing. They said he deserves a new sentencing hearing. So, the sentencing hearing is supposed to happen in 2012, but it's held up by Goff undergoing mental treatment. He's got some mental health care he's getting.
Sure. And
the sentencing will be resumed when he's considered not to need treatment anymore. So, like, he's been taken, I think, out of the jail into a mental, like a facility, a mental care facility off of death row. So that's pretty interesting here. So he does all of this. He files sought Supreme Court permission to file a post-conviction appeal. It's crazy how he went through all these high courts and all sorts of shit like that. The court said Goff's request is stayed indefinitely pending Goff's mental health treatment and notice from the trial court that Goff is again competent to proceed. At such time, the state may file a motion to lift this court's stay and resentence him. So there's that. So July 13th, 2009, or 2019, I'm sorry. This is 2 years ago. A year and a half ago. Goff's 43 years old, and on July 13th, he dies in jail.
What?
Just dropped dead in jail. They didn't release his cause of death. They just said that he was undergoing mental health treatment. Earlier this year, he remained incompetent. 43. As of earlier in 2019, he remained incompetent, according to letters from the Attorney General's office. And we don't know what the cause of death was. 43, that seems like he probably killed himself, if I'm going to guess.
Yeah.
Or who knows, Mississippi diet.
recessive gene from being, a child of incest.
Yeah, his heart exploded. Somebody didn't like people who scatter fucking cocktail waitresses' organs around a room. There's lots of ways they could die. Wow. Apparently, it was from the July 6th to the 16th, 7 prisoners in Mississippi died.
Wow.
Well out of normal age range.
What is happening there?
Fucking crazy. Yeah. The Mississippi, it's July 6th, July 7th, the 9th, the 10th, 2 people died. The 13th, Goff died. And then the 16th, Howard Goodwin died as well. So these are all, and 2 of them were death row inmates.
Shit.
It's very odd. There's this article about how many people die in the Mississippi system, and it is just
staggering.
It's staggering how many people die in that system.
Wow.
They don't give adequate health care. Number one, it's not.
I mean, jails in general and prisons, the health care is bad. They don't, James. The pills that they give them are all bootleg. They're not name brand things. They're all shitty things.
Some states are better than others, though, in terms of medical care and shit like that.
Yeah.
Some of these states, mostly the southern ones, are not. Yeah. Like if you read the book I was talking about for a long time about Angola, the guy goes undercover as a prison guard down there. It is, it's fucking disturbing. It's at a for-profit prison in Louisiana, and he talks about Angola too. But this is a for-profit prison in Louisiana, and it is just, it's wild. They won't do shit for you because if they give you anything, that's taken right out of their bottom line.
Right.
They're not going to give you pills. They're expensive. Right. Yeah. Then they get paid less money. Fuck you.
I've been watching those Werner Herzog films on Amazon or whatever about the death row in Texas. That's Werner, man, oh man, he sounds just like that guy from Django, the German guy. It's very strange that they sound exactly the same.
I love it. He's such a good filmmaker.
Werner's great.
Oh, because he puts this cinematicness of a Hollywood film into a documentary, and most people don't do that. It's not just talking heads; it's little. And I hate reenactments too. Yeah. And he's but he's
my
still
favorite
so
part
good at them.
Is when he interviews somebody, they say something that's like poignant and very good, and then he knows don't say shit. They focus the camera on that person's face, and we'll let that statement just burn into whoever's watching this. It's fucking uncomfortable.
That's the number one thing with documentaries. They don't hold it sometimes enough.
Yeah.
The goddamn person has to say something rather than letting something hang in the fucking air.
Right.
Let it hang, damn it. He gets film. That's, you could tell. He just gets film.
He is
good. He's good as shit. So that, everybody, is Lucedale, Mississippi. Ooh. And poor Brandy Stewart Yates and James Yates and the kids. It's just fucking terrible. That's a brutal. I feel bad for those kids, man. They never got to like their mom just left and then she was dead. Like there's no.
3 weeks later, Inside Out.
That's just like they didn't get any proper anything. Like they didn't expect that. Their mom's 29. Like you don't expect that. So that's wild shit. If you like that wild shit, I know how you can tell the world about it. There's a way to do that, Jimmy.
There is.
And there is. You can go on Apple Podcasts, my goodness, and give us 5 stars. It helps so much. That purple icon. We don't know why, but it helps drive you up the charts, which helps more people see the show, helps more people listen. It helps us on the business end. So if you could do that, doesn't matter what you say you're following instructions, following directions. That's not the important part. It's just that you say something and do that. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for everything crime and sports and small town murder. Listen to Crime and Sports if you haven't. This is a good week to start. We had a wild story that turned out to be semi-inspirational at the end. So give that a shot. Check that out. Last week was the Scummy Awards with Michael Irvin, so you definitely want to check that out as well.
Right.
We've been hot over there. Check it out. Also, check out P.S. I Hate This Movie. We're watching more Twilight in a couple weeks, and this last week I got to watch Once Bitten, and I was psyched about it.
Outstanding.
Hell yeah, Cleavon. So check that shit out. Check it all out. Also, follow us on social media. We are at Smurder. We're at Smurder Mall. We're at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, and we are at Small Town Murder on Instagram. So check us out there so you can get everything kind of before it hits anywhere. You'll know about it first. And that's for tour dates and all that because they're all being rescheduled, and I'm sure there'll be announcements there coming up soon. More importantly, though, Patreon. Right. Patreon.com/crime in sports is where you want to be. We really... Anytime you give us money, we're like, we really want to do good stuff.
I don't want you to be disappointed about it, that's for sure.
Yeah, if you give us money, boy, we're going to bang our fucking heads against the wall to make sure that you're getting your money's worth. So we really work hard on that Patreon, and this week is no exception. First of all, we're going to talk about the documentary for Crime and Sports Patreon, which you get access to if you're a member. Either way, you get access to everything. We're going to talk about the Hotel Cecil documentary with the young lady from Canada who came down and disappeared and ended up in a water tank. The creepy history of that hotel.
It's all fucked up.
It's all fucked out, man. It's bad stuff.
Really
so it's all fucked out. So all of that, we're going to do that. And then on Small Town Murders, we're going to do It's Time It's Been So Long, the Prisoner Dating Game, everybody. If you didn't see the virtual live show at the Prisoner Dating Game back in October, there hasn't been one in like 8 months. So holy shit, Prisoner Dating Game.
Time.
It's time. So if you have been waiting for the right week to join Patreon, this is the week. I'm telling you, in the future, too, we're going to do that. We're going to talk about the Nexium cult. We're going to talk about so many different things. We have so much shit lined up.
That one is super gross.
It is. It's
super
disgusting.
I mean, cults in general, gross, obviously, because it always turns into sex. But that one is unbelievable.
Every cult is soaked in jizz at some point. That's
really
the way
is.
It is. It's just, it happens.
The main guy's jizz will be all over everybody.
Everything and everybody. If you DNA test it, it's going to be everywhere. So
awful.
That's we're doing. We got so many different ideas and bonuses, and they'll be there every other week like we do them. Patreon.com/crime and sports. And Jimmy will mispronounce your name brutally at the end of the show during the shout outs. And that's the way we thank you for being a beloved producer. He tries his best, though. It's not like he's like, fuck these people. He's concentrating. When he messes up, he goes, shit. And I can see his veins popping on his forehead. He wants it bad, so he's going to try hard for you. If you just want to be a producer and also have great karma, get your name right at the end of the show, and just be a wonderful, wonderful person, you can also make a donation over at PayPal using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. That said, I think it's time now. It's been a crazy episode. I would like to hear the name of the people who would never kill us with a nightstand drawer and disembowel us with a metal rail. Jimmy, hit me with those names right now.
This week's executive producers are Melissa Spears, Jordan Bennett, Emma Sykes, Felicia Clifton, Ryan Guest, Liz Nelson's birthday was this week. Happy birthday, Liz.
Happy birthday, Liz Nelson. That's all I got.
Chrissy Ann Castaldi, again, thank you very much.
You.
Molly McDermott, Brittany Siegel, Stephen Poirier, I think, Lori Olson, and Kate Phillips. Thank you guys so much. We can't
Thank you.
Can't do it without you, truly. You're
so
amazing.
much for everything you do for
Other
us.
producers this week are Kaylin Bancroft. Also, Candace Kennedy was accepting orders from people overseas to get Girl Scout cookies, and then she was sending them to them. Like
that's so nice.
I mean, obviously, they would buy them, but they would send them to her, and then she would send them to them. And I think she covered shipping, too.
Wow,
Unbelievably
thanks.
sweet.
That's
Thank you
cool,
very much.
Candace. Yeah, she's a good one. She's a good one.
She's a good kid. Yeah, she is. Other producers this week are Thomas DeMello, Jesse Pitts, Ashley Vio, Todd Robertson, and Pasqualina Ilardi. They donated both ways. Thank you very, very much.
You got that name right.
Brendan Abels, Thomas Smith, Jackie Ringen, Cynthia Haston, Joanne Ahern, Billy Overbay, Carl Kirschner, again with the fucking umlauts. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to do it.
Corporal Umlaut. There he is.
That's what you've got forever, Carl.
Sorry, Carl.
Liz Vasquez, Peyton Meadows, Brittany Feldhake, James Martyr, Sheanna Ramsey, Brooke Kale, Eliana Agudela.
Hey.
Mm-hmm. Dana Stewart's birthday was this week. Happy birthday, Dana.
Happy birthday.
Ethan Morrissey, Steve Schnell, Iron Tree Craftworks, Mariah Lazaretz, Adam Udani, Jessica Finch, Travis Tim, Allison Warnock, Alyssa Nurenberger, and her Uncle John. She got her Uncle John into the show? No. Her Uncle John couldn't listen. Doesn't matter. Listen, He's no longer with us is the thing, and I'm ruining this,
Christ.
and I sound so
I was just going to go,
cold.
thanks, Uncle John. That's great. He's fucking dead? Jesus Christ. Sorry about Uncle John.
Alyssa,
both
I'm so
he
sorry
died
that
and
I
how
just
we
ruined
covered
all
it,
of
both
that.
of them.
He would have loved us is the thing that she said. I think that's the one.
Good then. Good. Well,
I hope that's true.
Elizabeth Everson, Alex Ortiz, Melanie Aguilar, Janice Hill, Andrea Fellows, Kristen Bellinger, Susanna Platt, Trey Valkanar, and Ann L. Anal Beads. Got it. All right. Jesus.
Yes, there you go.
Fuck. Samir Nahinajad, Mario Guerra. He is Bikes, Guns, BJJ on Etsy.
Oh.
He makes fucking bullet keychains, and they're very cool. Rabbi Shmulovich, I don't know why he loves me saying that. I don't know what the joke is.
We don't care what the joke is. Thank you for giving us
But I'd love
money.
to know what the joke is.
Yes, we would.
Gabby or Gaby, I'm not sure, no last name. Katie Hall, Chandler Easter, Dylan Kreider, I think, Melanie Fagan, I Poop on You, Kate McIntyre, Jamie Little, Dana Longin, Randy Tallarico. It's Italian, right?
Yeah, you're going to mess that up. That's a long one.
Jose
More
with
than
no
5
last name,
letters.
Natasha Williams. What?
Is it more than 5 letters?
I
It's going to go. It's bad. It's not going to work out for your Italian.
Natasha Williams,
Gallo.
Sarah Arntz, Bert K, Frank Golden, Todd Robertson, Sentry with no last name, Courtney Teasdale, Amy Moyer, Moyer. It's got to be Moyer. Lisa Cox, Nick Garcia, Rohan Bajaj, Richard. L. Wanger. What? That can't be right. Elwinger?
L. Wanger?
That's not Wanger, right? Susan
know,
Russell,
maybe it's
Alexis Bergstrom, Jordan with no last name, Stacy Kramer, Swifty Flanagan, Tate Murdoch, Tyler Christian, Michael Hansen, Goblin and Gremlin, I believe they're dogs or pets of some sort. Kristen with no last name, Bewigged Douchebag, Leela Lehner, Nathan Jackson, Anthony Rodriguez. What'd I do?
No, not that I said nice.
Oh, okay.
But weak douchebag.
Patricia
I like that.
Major, Sophie with no last name, Sarah Maloof, Jordan Sisk Johnson, Patrick Bedford, Luke Pell, David B., Megan Matuzewski.
Matuzewski.
That's the one. Todd Letts, Chris Thomas, Valley Stipmus,
Close enough.
Alyssa with no last name, Pablo Franco Jr., Matthew Scharnweber, Lindsay Montembolt. What? Oh boy, Adila MTZ. That can't be a name, right? I can't pronounce that. There's no vowels at all. Dakota Rice, Clint McDonald, Michelle Higgins, Zoe Moon, Aaron Emery, Mariah Edwards, Marissa Ann, Taryn King, Kyle Walters, Matthew Johnson, Matthew Tansey, David Rouse, Samantha White, Jenny Ziem, Zem. Ryan King, Kristen Mock, Sean Snedden, Matt Rosenberg, David Evans, Stacy Fetterman, Eric Thorpe Jr., Anthony Opadesano. Holy shit.
Hey,
Amori Gonzalez, John Shadolski. Oh, boy. Lisa Gomez, Christine
You're getting
Kincaid,
Italian names,
David
Polish names.
David Dinette, Rhonda Spencer, Sophia, nope, that's Sonia Kirby, Kenny Storr, Amy Lee, Cindy Lee, Eli King, Kristen Holmes, Brent Walker, Jessica Planchich, Brian Brown, Jarrett Byers, Matthew Webster, Gabriella Lopez, K.I., I think that's an I, it might be an L, Angie Priggy, Nathan Sharp, Jason Weiss, A.K. Soldier Guy, Vincent with no last name, Sage Fritchley, Katie Conqueror, Wade Waller, I almost had it, Emma Allen, Cameron Commodore, Kate Cimarosti, Thomas Robinson, Gabrielle Boyd, Don DePriest, K.D. Moore, Ann Engstrom, Lori DeHai, I think, Daryl Washington, Neelio Marin, Chris Trenner, Michelle, nope, that's Michael, Martinson, Riker Frohock,
What?
Matthew, nope, that's Nathan. Matthew? There's never been a Matthew in the history of anybody. It's Nathan.
I've never heard of
God
the name
damn it.
Matthew. Hello,
No.
Matthew.
I created it.
Perfect. You're going to name
Nathan Warren.
Name him Matthew. Young
Sita
Matthew.
Melville, Tina Jacobs, Bruce Wagner, Dina Morissette, James Wynant, Cassidy Barnett, Loretta Kennedy, Emmett Maeli, Jacob Hansen, Maggie with no last name, Jaden Blomstead, Anthony Rosenberger, Melody Kernatz, Janae Serdar, Amy Wiedemann, Joe Anderson, and Ira Anderson, James Nance, Michelle, oh boy, Bardakachigia. Bardakjian? Josh with no last name. Thomas with no last name.
Moving on.
Jenna Evert? Evert. I don't know. I just burped. I'm sorry.
He said, you looked at it like you burped. I'm looking at you. I didn't see the burp. I just looked up and you were like staring at it like you were really trying to figure it out. But no, you just burped. Your fucking mic was covering your mouth, so I didn't see it open. I had the monitor in front of me.
Sierra Howerton, Amita Goindy, Jesus, Jacqueline with no last name, Neoteric gentleman, Dominique Whitney, Stephen Norris, Hunk Gooden, Patricia Hanley, Van Jones, Vanessa Evans, WB, Dixie with no last name, Rebecca Robbins, Samuku, nope, that's Susamu, Iraqi, what? Ryan Patel, okay. Alton Horton, here's a who. Ashley with no last name, Brady Taylor, John Bennett, Elijah Ruddy, Julie Fitzgerald, Stephen Kramer, Carla Reynolds, Emily Daniel, John Filkins, Mike Euler. He's back. Thanks, Mike. It's been a minute. We know Mike Euler, right? We know that guy. I don't know why.
Yeah, we do.
He wrote an email. Did he hate us at one point? Now he likes us?
I don't remember, but I know the name. I know we've had interaction.
We got a history with Mike Euler. I don't know why. We do. Nick Sturdivant, Susan Wathen, Kendall, Sage Parker, Devin Decker, Cheryl G, Jacob Carr, Heather Burland, Amanda Thomas, Robbie Russo, Jimmy Denver, Beatrice Brandel, Heidi with no last name, Aaron Burgeon, Laura Ondal, Emily Harris, Zach Cole, Wayne Bradley, Ian Mitchell, Sissy Rose, Travis Monger, Fiona Campbell, Melissa Nicole Martinez, Evelyn Gokin, Punky Trashcan, Clinton Grout, Blake Box, Abraham D. Nebgen. Boy, oh boy, that was a tough one. Justin Yelliott, Grant Vanek, Jimmy Peterson, Seth Tracy, Carla C., Marissa F., Allie Arce, Patricia Blankenship, Damon Brown, Caitlin Lewis, Brittany Cobb, Nathan Potts, Sean Whalen, Amy with no last name, Natalie with no last name, Tyrell with no last name, Noreen with no last name, Shannon Morgan, PJ Benson, Gabrielle Turner, Lisa Bradley, Drew Freetag, Natalie Wall, Annette Jayberg, Zoe Bird, Star Annalise, Chris Vega, Luis with no last name, Tori with no last name, Jeff Pike, Eric Smith, Rebecca Caputo, Katie Bailey, Miley Forbes, nope, that's Mila. God damn it. James Swin, Jordan Beach, Mark Gonzalez, and Derek Edwards, and all of our patrons. You guys are fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, so much. Honestly, we cannot tell you how much you've changed our lives and how much we appreciate every last little thing you do for us, whether you tell a friend, whether you give a review, whether you donate on, sign up for Patreon, whatever it is. Thank you so much. But really, the people who give us money, we got to thank you extra.
Yeah, you've done unbelievable things for us, and it's not overlooked.
You're our lifeblood. We give a fuck about you, and we care about what you like, and we hope that you're liking what we're doing for you. So we're going to keep it up and never stop there. Jimmie, what if people wanted to tell you to keep it up and never stop? How could they find you?
I'm on the internet on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter at Whisman Sucks. Where are you at?
I'm at Jimmie P is funny. You can find us with how to Google shit.
Right.
You can find anybody nowadays. Jesus Christ.
Bananas.
So that said, find us, look for us, keep listening every goddamn week because we're not going anywhere.
No.
We'll see you for the bonus episodes coming up this weekend. And I think with that said, until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer.
I can really show you how to make some money.
And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them. working in a microcity built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.